Well, 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 chat. How are we doing? I'm back. It's been too long. I said I'd do it weekly, and I completely, immediately fell at the first hurdle. How is everybody doing? Oh, I'm in my screaming mode, I can see. Let me turn down my voice a little. Tell me how the audio is doing. How are we doing? Is this better? Maybe I'm a little... Oh, I think I started on the wrong one. Hang on. Play game. Alright. Let's see if that holds up for much longer. So, how are we all keeping, everybody? Having a good time? Excited to play some FNAF 2? Man, it's been so long. I obviously, when I make the reboot videos, I have to do a bit of research on the game that I'm claiming to try and improve or change or whatever, so I went back and played FNAF 2 when I was making Heyday, which is it's a stage maybe nearly a year ago. So I'm excited to get into it because it's been a while, and I like this game for a lot of reasons. A lot of problems with it for other reasons, but I think it's such a classic. I mean, this was a really important game for me growing up, definitely. You know, when it came out, it was so hype and it was so fresh. And at the time, I had a YouTube channel, which nobody knows what it is, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm seeing my scene switcher keeps making, well, I see I'm kind of in screaming mode for a while. So let me see if my sensitivity on that is a little bit too low. Yeah, I'll keep it there. All right. So, all right, cool. On with the truth. Where will you be able to get FNAF Anniversary once you finish it? That's a good question, actually. That's kind of release stuff that we're kind of thinking about. Oh, the very first donation from Christ himself. Thank you very much. Good to see it in chat. This is the scariest game, bruh. It's so true. Actually, I was just saying nobody knows that original YouTube channel, but I suppose Christ himself would know. So. Did you ever believe the Purple Guy was Phone Guy? Of course I believe Purple Guy was Phone Guy. I watched MatPat back in the day. However, I also believe the now controversial two Purple Guys, Pink Guy and Purple Guy theory. I actually found a document that I had written when I was like 13 a while ago, which was my like whole timeline for FNAF from 1 to 3. And it was a doozy. I can pause this game. I'll respond to that super chat now in a second.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old locations, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Facial recognition, advanced mobility, they even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now that being said, no new system is without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. And as for the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about the robot saying he was an endoskeleton without his costume on and wanting to stuff you into the suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quartz modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have light, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to, keep the music box wound up, piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, so after that long speech, I'm going to read that donation that we got from M90's Animations 56. Hey Truth, I have a question. Do you have an actual design for Fredbear planned, or is he going to stay in his unwithered Freddy form down to his 4 fingers instead of the matching fingers with Spring Bonnie? Very interesting question, because this is... It's a reboot question, and I suppose I think it's did Withered Chica leave? Oh no, she's there. Oh god, the puppet. Basically, for the anniversary game, which we are making, the actual, you know, real one. Where is Toby? There he is. I was gonna come into this. Okay. For anniversary, the actual game we're making, I see them as a chance to, like, not reboot, but like remaster the games that I'm showing in the video, right? Like the ones that don't actually exist, the ones that are just made up of animations. I am essentially getting a chance to revitalize them with new stuff, with new visuals, with like slightly better written dialogue, you know, more fleshed out lore and story, and like just overall like an improved sense of what the game is going to be when it's like actually developed. And I definitely think if we ever get to making Heyday, the exact same thing will happen. And this Fredbear question is very relevant, because only the other day we actually had one of our modelers combine the withered Golden Freddy model with a basically like a Spring Bonnie hand. And like we adjusted the hand and kind of rebuilt it and made it look like it fit the suit, and it actually looks surprisingly good, the like Spring Bonnie hand on the Fredbear withered Fredbear suit. So to answer your question, in the video I just did that because I had that model, you know, from online, and I was just like, well, this is, I feel like I'm not paying enough attention, I feel like I'm gonna die. No, this is there. But yeah, so those are things that I absolutely am keeping in mind, and now that I have like people helping me, I can, you know, kind of go, all right, well, I might not know how to do this, but somebody on the team probably knows how to do this. So that is the answer to that question, you know, because that was something that I did consider at the time, but I was just like, is it worth doing for the video, especially at that time when I barely knew anything about Blender, and I decided it wasn't. So, but it's something that we can do now. Oh god, I forgot about the puppet. I keep forgetting about the puppet entirely, which is really funny because it's the one thing you can't do in this game. Where did Bonnie just go? Did he crawl out? Is he gonna kill me now? Oh no, oh dear. It's 5 AM. I can survive. Where is he though? Can Bonnie go out of the vents and not go into your room? Oh, he's back in there. Okay. There you go. Learn something new every day. Ben 10 screams. Everybody like the stream. Ben 10 screams. Ben 10 like the screams. Yeah, absolutely. Get some 14s. Get some. I don't know. What's a FNAF 2? We were just listening to the phone call there, so we could talk a little bit about all the stuff that Ralph said. Oh, buddy. Hey! I always like to think about what might have happened in the room were Jeremy to like hit 6 a.m. while Toy Bonnie's like right in front of him. Does he just kind of shudder and go back to his stage? Is it kind of awkward for a minute? Dry Soda 8854. Hey, and Willie, love the trailer, but I'm wondering why the models look so different from the original video. This is I can answer this and then I'll answer it after this.
I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology. But they were just so ugly, you know, and the smell. So the company decided to just go in a whole new direction and make them super kid-friendly. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around, but if they do, the whole Freddy head trick should work on them too, so whatever. I loved those old characters. Did you ever see Foxy the Pirate? Oh wait, Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy. Hey listen. That one was always a bit twitchy. I'm not sure if the Freddy head trick will work on Foxy. If for some reason he activates during the night, and you see him standing at the far end of the hall, just flash your light at him from time to time. Those older models would always get disoriented with bright lights. It would cause a system restart or something. Come to think of it, you might want to try that on any room where something undesirable might be. It might hold him in place for a few seconds. That glitch might have carried over to the newer models too. One more thing, don't forget the music box. I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere. I don't think the Freddy mask will fool it, so just don't forget the music box.
Just came out of there.
Anyway, I'm sure it won't be a problem. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Oh, Mangle is on the move. Okay, so, because this was something that we did get a lot of feedback from in the trailer, which was the kind of the overall visuals of the game. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. The visuals of the trailer, the reason we put out a trailer was not to be like, here's the game, and it's finished, and we're going to be putting it out soon. Okay, Balloon Boy has moved. I seem to remember from some AI video that Balloon Boy makes a sound every time he moves. Yeah, so it was more so that we were like, we've been working on this for a while now. We wanted people to get excited. We want kind of to be able to talk about it like this and get feedback and answers and stuff like that. Okay, Balloon Boy is moving on up. And so the reason that those kind of graphics look different from the video is, first of all, when you're working in a game engine, everyone's out. Okie dokie. It's so rare that I see that render of Toy Freddy in the dining hall. Oh, no, Foxy, no, thank you. Oh dear, I've used up half my potion. This isn't good. Okay, Toy Freddy's there. See, I wonder, is Foxy there as well, though, and it's just that the game is bugging out. Okay, that was spooky. Oh dear. I'm already at that point where I'm like, I just should be using the puppet camera, because, like, I really don't. Okay, is Balloon Boy in that? Yeah. Freddy's still there, go away. Yeah, those graphics were, I wouldn't say like placeholder or anything like that, but you know, that was where we were at the time visually with the game, and already since that trailer came out, like, there has been multiple new iterations. Just put that on. Oh dear, am I dead? Oh god. Oh, that was way too late. I was so late. I freaked out. It's been so long since I played this game. Game is a bit too loud. Sure thing, I'll turn it down. Man, I can still get spooked. It's been so long. So yeah, wasn't placeholder graphics, but there has been a lot of updates and changes since that trailer, and the reason we put it out was because we wanted that kind of feedback. So we wanted to see where people were at and what the first things that stood out to them were. So there's a lot of work being done on the game every day that's like improving it and adding stuff that wasn't even in the video to make it kind of, like I said, the kind of remastered version of the video. First FNAF jump scare to scare me in years. Fair play, lad. Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know. Like, I think I'm remembering now the sensation that FNAF 2 gives you is it's not necessarily, the same with 1, where it's this more like kind of creeping, uncomfortable claustrophobia. It's that like really intensive kind of panic as a lot of stuff starts to happen at the same time, and you're going like, oh, okay, I've got the music box. Oh wait, oh, he's at the end of the hall. I gotta flash him. Okay, where's Balloon Boy? He's coming in. Do I put the mask on? Do I not put? And it works the best, I think, when you're not like, because I know I'm gonna start developing the strategy, of the mask, cameras, lights, whatever, music box. Like I'm even kind of defaulting to it now. But I think FNAF 2 is at its best when you don't know what's going on. I think once you kind of optimize it, there's another level of challenge to be had. But it is kind of like when you don't know and you're just clicking around these cameras, even though the cameras are very much not useful, there is still that sense of, yeah, it's like, what the hell is that then? Why is that coming in? These games are so cool. It's been so long. It's been so long since I played these originals. And like, the new games are cool too, don't get me wrong at all. It's just, I think over time we forget the actual context of these games and how they felt to play at the time. Versus I think this kind of, when you get used to something or it's been a franchise for so long, it's kind of hard not to get so used to these elements that they're not as maybe scary or unique as they used to feel. Go, 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 go. She got me freaked out. Like that. Okay, hello. Go, 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 go. He's just chilling there. Oh, no, no! Is that too short again? Oh, there was someone at the vent. First movement. Sorry, Chad, I'm locking in. I know it's night 2. Get out of here, Balloon Boy. Even like the slow fade as you put the mask up is great, because you can take it off and you are technically safe, but you just don't want to. You feel like, oh no, it's still loading back in. It's fine. I can just take a second. But you know, on later nights, you really do start having to take it off without any line of sight at all, and just hope that you're not flashing the light for no reason. Oh, I don't want you stealing my batteries. The game is quite loud still. Okay, I'm gonna turn that down a good bit then. Oh, I didn't know I wanted to do that. I was just trying to change things out of the screen. Oh dear. You know what's interesting is it's crazy how little feedback the Scott games give you, right? Like, and I wonder, is that like a positive, or because, like, you know, when I'm hitting Withered Foxy with that flashlight, I have no idea how many times I need to do it before I need to stop. It just sort of works eventually. I think it's this game specifically for some reason. I'm using the controls from fucking Anniversary for the lights. I'm just play testing that game. Okay. Come on. Stop whispering. Am I whispering? Razzifications. Yes, I am Irish. Some people know that already. But yes, you are asking. Yay! How are we doing on sound levels, guys? Am I still okay? Ooh, we've got our in-between night cutscenes now. Interesting, because they're walking on the play for night 1. Is it a random chance that it plays? I could have sworn it was just something that happens. Freddy is looking a little purple in this frame technically, just because it's nighttime. It's me. You're pretty quiet compared to the game. Still? My gosh, I'm not turning it down enough apparently. Unless...
Hello? See, I told you wouldn't have any problems. Did, Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious. Like I said, he was always my favorite. They tried to remake Foxy, you know? They thought the first one was too scary, so they redesigned it to be more kid-friendly instead of in Kids Cove, to keep the toddlers entertained, you know? But kids these days just can't keep their hands to themselves. The staff literally had to put Foxy back together in every shift. Eventually they just stopped trying and left him as some kind of take-apart, put-back-together attraction. Now he's just a mess of parts. I think the employees refer to him as just the Mangle. Oh hey, before I go, I wanted to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything. I can personally assure you that whatever is going on out there, however tragic it may be, has nothing to do with our establishment. It's just all rumor and speculation, people trying to make a buck, you know. Our guard during the day has reported nothing unusual, and he's on watch from opening till close. Okay, well anyway, hang in there and I'll talk with you tomorrow.
And love these phone calls. I think they're some of the most confusing phone calls, but I think they are probably my favorite. I prefer the phone calls in FNAF 2 to the ones in FNAF 1. The FNAF ones are obviously iconic, but the FNAF 1 calls are a lot more about like setting up the world. And they set up Ralph as this kind of tragic character, but the FNAF 2 calls tell such a great story, you know, and it feels very natural the way you hear about it. It doesn't feel like it's too forced. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. That was probably too late. Whoa! Yeah. Unwithered Truther. Thank you very much, Jet in the Flesh. Welcome. Am I still too quiet? I don't know how to fix this. I guess I put that down a little bit. Maybe I can lower that down. How about if I put this up and then lower it down here, and we'll see if that's better. How is that then in terms of levels? Because on OBS it's showing me like 3 times as loud. Which classic FNAF game do you think needs the least fixing? Ooh. I'll also just quickly, because I will answer your question because I think it's totally fair to ask it this way, because I don't think the original FNAF games need fixing. I think they have things that could be improved about them, or things which are, maybe bug me personally, or things that I would love to see taken in a different direction, which is obviously what the reboots are, but I don't think any of them are broken in a way that needs to be fixed. So the one that needs least, the one that I suppose I look at with the least amount of updates or changes that I can think of that need to be made, I think would be FNAF 4. Because I think FNAF 4 is very interesting, it's very self-contained, and I do want to touch on FNAF 4, but I've gone back and forth in my head a few times as to whether or not I want to make a FNAF 4 reboot game, or if I want to smush it together with one of the others. And I think I have an idea as how I want to do that, but it's interesting, and it doesn't make you lose anything. It just doesn't mean you might get, like, FNAF 4 rebooted, and it's in the house, and it's about the grandchild, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I love the other games as well. I particularly love the like background information and story about 3. I love Happiest Day as a concept. Or the escape from Happiest Day or whatever. I love all that stuff. I love the twist of the killer getting killed in his own suit. I love all that stuff. I think the gameplay for 3 is where I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's not really my favorite in the series, but I think it's also got a super cool aesthetic and a super cool set. Give me guesses as to what you think my FNAF 3 reboot would be like. Finish the FNAF 3 reboot and I'll be satisfied. You don't have to do FNAF 4, but I want to do up to 6. But I just, it might take the rest of my life. It'll be 85 and I'm like, my magnum opus. I'll be like George R.R. Martin with The Winds of Winter. Murray stuff I'm integrating, but not in a very what's the term, like very in-your-face way. If I was going to do a Secret of the Mimic, how would I do it? So the problem with the format that the videos take and rebooting something like Secret of the Mimic is like I could not possibly make a game, like even a video in the style of what I usually show. I feel like making an entire game that's like a third person, like roaming action game, or like adventure game, that would be such a huge undertaking, because then it's not worrying about things from one angle, it's worrying about like a full 3D environment. Like I might as well just make a game that big anyway. But also, to be fair, one of the things I would consider doing is shrinking those games down to kind of be more like the bite-sized little morsels that the original games were, because the original games like really are kind of quite contained experiences. You know, like FNAF 2 is not supposed to last you like a week, you know, exploring every little detail. Like there's stuff that keeps coming back and you can keep playing the custom nights and stuff, but it really is supposed to be experienced, you know, in a short amount of time and enjoyed that way. And then, you know, the challenge of, you know, enjoying it in the future comes down to like, oh, I'm using up so much of my flashlight. The challenge then comes down to like, you know, ooh, how much are they? How hard can I go against? What difficulty animatronics can I end up beating? Ooh, I love that render. That's a rare one. Look at that, Bonnie and Foxy in the hole. I have a feeling Bonnie's gonna flick down the cameras. Look, now he's back to normal. But sorry, you were saying about you were asking about the Secret of the Mimic. One thing is, I would make it smaller, not necessarily that small, but you know, if I had to make a video about it, I would have to make it smaller. I would with Secret of the Mimic. I think my thing with Secret of the Mimic is it's a really whoa, I went too slow. It was a really amazing setup for a game, with like the whole Mimic costume. Oh, hello. They're so insanely massive too. Like the size of these animatronics is ridiculous. They're like 18 feet tall. Wither Chica's arms like spread out across the room. I think that's a part of the like perspective thing. The weird kind of like panoramic perspective that the game has. But yeah, I would focus on the concept of a character which can hide in any costume and being filled in a place with more costumes than you can count is a great idea. But I feel like the way it was kind of handled, while it certainly worked for the style of game they were going for, if I were to make a game with that same premise, I think I would look at it like, okay, let's try and make like a few really unique encounters with this guy, and like all the different kinds of suits that he can be in, and not just like the same, you know, roaming hunting mode robot that is just like wearing, you know, oh, he's an elephant in this room and he's a hedgehog in this room, you know, like, oh, in different rooms depending. Oh god, I'm ready to get a flashlight. Depending on what suit he's wearing, like, oh, maybe in this suit he can crawl on walls, or in this suit he can be really sneaky and hide inside stuff, you know, like giving him different mechanics as the Mimic, you know, I think would have been really fun. And that's probably what I would lean into gameplay wise for Secret of the Mimic. I don't know about the story. I have ideas about how to implement the Mimic and some other things from later in the timeline. But again, they'd have to come in a different form, just in terms of like what I'm capable of producing, you know, on my own. Oh, come on, guys. This is ridiculous. I really don't know if I'm flashing Foxy. Oh, that one might have been too slow. God damn it! I keep getting frightened with them being in the office. Okay, we're okay. I'm so close to being out of battery in my flashlight. Oh, thank God. Okay. We can do this. Oh my God. The actual tension. Let's go! Let's go. Night 3. Where are you? Why are you not crashing my game? It's me. M90's Animations, thank you very much for the super chat. Hey Truth, I have a question again. Basically, if you could, would you change any dynamics between any of the human FNAF characters? Let's listen to this phone call, and then I'll
hey there, Night 4. I told you to get
Sorry,
the
I
hang
keep
of
doing
it.
it.
Okay, so just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days. I don't know. I want to emphasize, though, that it's really just a precaution. Fazbear Entertainment denies any wrongdoing. These things happen sometimes. It'll all get sorted out in a few days. Just keep an eye on things, and I'll keep you posted. Just as a side note, though, try to avoid eye contact with any of the animatronics tonight if you can. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. We're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual, almost aggressive towards the staff. They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare. Anyway, hang tight, it'll all pass. Good night.
Human character relations that I would like to change. How can I do this without spoiling? Change. See, you know, there's very few relationships that we actually know about in FNAF. So to say like, oh, I want to change this relationship, you've only got a handful to pick from, and you got to depend on what you mean by like relationship, right? Like, oh, do you want two characters who like each other to not like each other, or do you want two characters who are related to not be related, or do you want two characters who aren't related to be related? You know, in terms of what you mean by changing them, I'd assume you mean dynamics, whether that be familial or otherwise. If I had to choose, I like all of them as they're presented. I can't think of any particular character dynamics between multiple people that I don't, you know, particularly like. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say Elizabeth and William is an interesting one, because I find Elizabeth's treatment post sister location, which is just basically in 6 in FFPS, is why is that taking so long to go up? Is I feel like for some reason she's not really treated as a victim in the same way the other characters are. She's treated more like a villain, you know, like, oh well, she's the ghost that's on the bad side and wants to please, you know, her father. And I think, you know, I would give Scott enough credit to say that, like, you know, just because she's acting villainous doesn't mean that she is a villain. Like, she is at the end of the day a child, but I would like to see that more clearly represented, and see the difference between William's opinion on Elizabeth and Elizabeth's opinion on William. So I think those are two very whoa! I just saw something teleport. That was interesting. I've never seen that happen before, too. More like in the fourth closet. Yeah, I'd say more like in the fourth closet. Oh god. Oh no, I thought you were going away. Please go away. Yeah, more like in the... You know what was interesting is the other day I was thinking about character dynamics and relationships and stuff like that. And I was thinking about how, you know, when FNAF 2 came out, there was a version of this story in Scott's head where the puppet was male. And, you know, I was thinking about it and, like, thinking about FNAF at this time and how interesting it could be to write, like, an AU set in, like, the pre-FNAF 4 version of the timeline. Right, where we don't know about William having kids, Mike Schmidt is not related, and people are just going to say, oh, that's just the movie. But, you know, like, the guards aren't necessarily important people. There's this, like, puppet character who seems to be particularly important, and this Golden Freddy character seems to be important. And seeing what, like, that kind of world looks like. Or, you know, again, people say, oh, it's the Silver Eyes. But I mean specifically... Oh, God. It's too late. Yeah. If you could rewrite the movies, how would you do it? I'd be very interested to see your take on the movies as well as especially the second one. So I've avoided doing movie rewrites because what I want to do is just basically wait until the trilogy is out and then go, okay, what would I do, you know, if I were given the keys to either the next FNAF franchise or if I were the one who was kind of directing these from the start. And I kind of want to do like reboots of the movies, basically, right? Now there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can just do your own complete personal written script that's completely got nothing to do with the movies, which I might want to do. Or you can do the kind of YouTuber rewrite thing where you go, alright, I'm taking the main characters and the general plot outline, and I'm not changing that, but then, like, you know, details of how the story moves along, I'm gonna update. So, I think I would... You could go in that direction, you could go in the original plot direction. I think my changes to the story would be more tonal, yeah, I'd say tonal and focus. And by what I mean by focus is changing the focus from being on the kind of like I don't know, because the movies, like some of them, the second one definitely focuses more on the kind of like wacky side of this world. Whoa, isn't it crazy? And they're kind of leaning into a very ironic take on a horror, you know, at a good few points. I would like to really delve into the psychological aspect of the horror, particularly pertaining to like William, for example, because like William Afton could be the most interesting movie character ever. He could be so cool. And I think especially like Matthew Lillard is doing a good job. And this always comes up whenever I talk about William Afton, is I just think I have a different idea of what he could be in my head, or what I think he is, than maybe Scott does. And that's fine, obviously it's his series. I just have particular ideas about William that I'm like, man, you know, I'd love to see that realized, in some kind of more in-depth fashion, which is like obviously why I wrote an entire like fan interactive novel about him, you know, because I'm like, he's really interesting if you look at him through this lens, and like try and treat him seriously in his relationships and his psyche seriously, considering the horrible person that he is. And I think if you tie that into a horror series about ghost robots, you've got like a really interesting, creepy, off-putting thing, which would be very unique in the kind of like modern. It would be unique and also like, but like also, you know, maybe not familiar, but like easy to settle into, I think, for a mass audience. I think some people think that FNAF is like this really inaccessible thing that like only the true fans will get it. But like, you know, FNAF became popular because of how amazingly appealing the concept is. You know, just from the kind of creepy factor alone. And so then using that and translating that into movie form, I think would be more beneficial than the kind of more tongue-in-cheek tone that we get with the movies, where they're kind of like, you know, they're aware that they're these like popcorn movies for fans of these games, and everything is sort of like a wink and a nod at the audience, rather than being like, no, this is just a film that just happens to be about this thing, you know. But that's a lot of franchise things these days, and that's fine because that also has an audience and has a value. I'm just like desperate to see a really, you know, serious, in-depth look at FNAF. Did I see another teleporting thing there? Maybe I didn't. Withered Bonnie in the vents. You're too big. Get out of there. See, it's weird because in these renders, Withered Bonnie really doesn't look that much bigger than Toy Chica. And then the room, he's like 18 feet tall. I think FNAF is ripe for an anthology TV series. You know, one of these streaming shows that's got. Oh God! I don't think I was quick enough. I'm so slow with that mask. It's crazy. I keep forgetting that I'm gonna have to do it like in response to other things going on. I'm just like. That sounds stupid because that's the entire point of the mask. I mean, like I'm gonna just have to be forced to do it, not that. I'm gonna have control of like when I put down the camera. I forgot that it forces your camera down. But yeah, I think a limited series like Frights, but just like adapted for the screen, focused more. Oh, hello! Look at this. Look who's here. I probably shouldn't have my light on that. Go away, balloon boy. God, that time I thought I was in control. Oh my God. The real question people are asking is why there's no Felix the Shark cameo in Heyday. You know what's funny? Is I've literally talked about Felix the Shark. God, that was way too slow. I suck. Oh my God. Okay, that's very generous. Thank you, everybody. There's so much movement going on. It's great. What is that sound supposed to be? The FNAF 2 sound. The ba-ding. Oh. Drop Angel Cannon in the Reboot universe like Gibby asked you to or not. Will I? Or, okay. I really need to get into the habit of just putting on the mask when I come over. Oh no, I left it off for way too long. I keep saying that, but I don't know. Let's go! It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. That's good. Oh, there she is. So what do you guys think this is? Is this Give Gifts, Give Life? Why are the others not interested? Why is it the FNAF? What? To confirm, the puppet is in FNAF 1. So do you think they're flash forwards or flashbacks? Good night, Ben 10 Screams. Thank you for joining us. Don't remind me of this stuff about these posters I want to talk about.
Oh, hey, good job, night 5. Hey, keep a close eye on things tonight, okay?
Oh, jeez.
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, you know, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move into the day shift. The position just became available. We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it. We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down. We'll just get through one more night. Hang in there. Good night.
Do you think Scott, when he was making this game, intended you to like click around the cameras and like freeze the animatronics in spots, like so they wouldn't move any further? Or do you think he just knew, like, oh yeah, by night 5 you're just on the puppet camera? I really would be curious to talk to him about that, like how he kind of viewed the whole thing. Yeah, and Verb, thank you very much for the super chat. What would your ideal fan cast of each FNAF character be? I'd have to say Jake Gyllenhaal would make a perfect William. Jake Gyllenhaal as like a young William is actually kind of fire. You know what? I actually kind of love that. Because I've thought about William, like, you know, who would I cast? You know, who's the best actor to put in that role? I really like Matthew Lillard. I think he suits the vibe of those movies that they've gone for, which is obviously like, it's more in the vein of a Scream, and obviously, you know, I don't want to reduce Matthew Lillard's career. Oh, hello. I haven't seen her in the hall yet. They are pretty spooky up there. But, you know, I don't want to reduce Matthew Lillard's career to Scream, but I think it makes sense as, again, like a wink and a nod to the community. He's one person, you know, who's the secret twist villain in our kind of funny horror movie. But anyway, William casting is really interesting. Jake Gyllenhaal is kind of a great pick. I would like an English actor. Yeah, an English actor. I kind of like the idea of William being a little bit older, unless you're doing an origin story. Oh no, that was way too long. That was way too long. There you go. Rowan Atkinson as William, for real, for real. How would you handle Vanny / Vanessa if you did a hypothetical security breach / rewrite? I feel like she'd have so much. She had so much wasted potential. I got ideas. I got thoughts for Vanny and Vanessa / Vanessa. I don't necessarily want to share them here though. I don't want to skip English actors right now. We're gonna have a little browse of some English actors. Let me see. Can I? Hang on. Freddy and Friends, record on. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right, let's look up some English actors today. Let's have a browse of these guys. Just keep an eye out for any William standouts. I'm honestly just looking at pictures to like jog my memory of some great English actors. Michael Caine would be like a great old, really old William. Michael Caine. I'm gonna embarrass myself now at the names I don't know. There's also no reason to say that William would have to be like a super megastar when he was cast. Like he could be a kind of an unknown, which I think would work for the kind of unassuming nature of William. I think it kind of be cool to have someone that's not super well known. Brendan Gleeson is Irish. Let me see. Andy Serkis could play a very interesting William. I don't think like he's got the look that I would imagine of William, but Gary Oldman. I mean, he's fantastic. I'm trying to imagine his like really English accent. I don't know if he's no, he's not English, he's Irish. Aidan Gillen would be a great William. This is Littlefinger. Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. If any of you have seen him in Game of Thrones, he's obviously a lot more he's in a very different kind of scenario, but he's super conniving, but he's got that kind of like evil like wit to him. I think he'd be really cool. Hi Giovanni, how's it going? Anyone else have any suggestions? What about like let's build up a little cast list, I guess. That could be a fun thing to do. Anyone have any other good William suggestions? I'll go here for the time being. Anthony Hopkins back in the day. We're casting our own people. Let's assume we can't overlap anyone from the main films. We're creating a new cast. Zendaya Fiona. Have you guys seen The Menu? It's a really cool film. I won't say more than that. I think it's on Netflix. Ralph Fiennes is the lead of that film. Or he's the kind of, he's a chef character, I'll say, in that film, and he could be really interesting. This guy. And you might also recognize him from some Wes Anderson films, I think, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, he's in Grand Budapest Hotel, of course, and a lot of other famous films. But The Menu, I thought he was particularly great in, and Grand Budapest Hotel, of course. But he could be a really interesting William. How much do we care about age? Like, let's say we're aiming for anywhere between like 30 and 50. Chris Pratt voicing Freddy Fazbear. Oh, got the other Game of Thrones, Tywin Lannister. He's one that's definitely crossed my mind a handful of times. This is Tywin. This guy is so menacing. He's definitely in the older age range of like Williams, but he's great. He's just so menacing. All right, I'm gonna swap back to the gaming setup. All right. Let's go back to Night 5. Anyone have any Henry suggestions? See, I'm not even considering them for like their, you know, your fear sustains me moments. I'm thinking of them in like deeply intense drama scenes between like William and Michael. Colin Firth would be a very interesting William. I'd imagine him more like his character in the King's Speech, I think it's called. Obviously, the King. Why did the FNAF stand stop? Is it supposed to stop? Matt Smith. Thought about Matt Smith as well. He'd be, again, interesting choice. Matt Smith is fantastic. I think he could play a more like kind of eccentric William, and again, not boiling him down to just Doctor Who. But I think, you know, he has that energy, so I feel like he'd want to play with that a bit. Stellan Skarsgård as Henry. You do those monologues well. Stellan Skarsgård is crazy for William. Oh no. Damn it. You have been called here. No, that's not a terrible Stellan Skarsgård. How does he speak? He's got a very specific accent. I try to do him from Andor. I'm trying to remember. I burned my life. I sacrifice the sun for a sunlight I'd never get to see. What's that line? That's so good. What are your favorite non-FNAF video games? Minecraft. I know that's a like. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it properly in a good while. But that was such a huge game growing up, and I think just in terms of like the game that it is, or at least was anyway. I haven't played the newer version, so I can't say if it's maintained this status. But like the best game. It's so good. It's so simple, and yet so endlessly great. FNAF is a huge one. I love Oblivion. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I love Skyrim as well. I'm not one of those people that's like, Skyrim is secretly really bad and nobody noticed for all these years. But I recognize its flaws at the same time. Oblivion has a nostalgic place for me. Fallout New Vegas, peak game. Ultimate Spider-Man on the PS2. Definitely some nostalgia playing in there, but the art style in that game is beautiful. It's literally just lifting the Bagley art from Ultimate Spider-Man comics and just like integrating it seamlessly. Best like cell shaded game I've ever seen. Ultimate Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. Oh no. Skyrim is really bad, but it's fantastic. See, like, that's the question. It's like, what is bad about Skyrim? And I know there's like 100 people who will argue different things, and I wonder. Sometimes some of those, you know, videos are absolutely correct, or some of those takes are definitely correct, in certain aspects. But like, sometimes I think the experience of Skyrim, or the criticisms of Skyrim, come from people who want it to be more than it is, and you know, rightfully so, given the kind of legacy that it's following in the Elder Scrolls series. But I think it's also quite excellent at delivering the experience it's attempting, if that makes sense. It's attempting a more general appeal fantasy RPG, you know, and there are definitely problems, but like, it does an amazing job of keeping like your attention, of keeping your immersion intact, you know, for the most part. Baskets on heads to steal notwithstanding. Never played Fable, actually. I've heard the new one is coming out soon, and that is supposedly looking good? Question mark? Yeah, I knew you'd there. I knew. I've been playing Morrowind recently. That's actually been quite interesting as an experience. I would also say other favorite games. FTL is a great game. I love booting that up every couple of months and just playing it for a couple of weeks and just being like, yep, it's chill. See, okay, this is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. Oh no, fuck that. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, damn it. Oh, that was so stupid. I'm not just talking about you. I've never once managed to beat the last boss of FTL, and I've 70 hours in that game. Yeah, I don't think I've ever beaten it either. I think I got close to the end of that game, like once. But I still love it. What else? The Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed 2, I think is my favorite. 2 and Brotherhood are great. Black Flag is really good, but I always had a weird relationship with that game because I saw it as, because unlike a lot of people, I actually quite enjoyed the whole Desmond storyline and all the Eden stuff. And I feel like that was some of the things that were most heavily criticized with those original games. And 4 stepping away from that and doing the new, they did the Steel Wool, they did the Silver Parasol Games thing where, oh, Assassin's Creed is actually now a video game in the universe of Assassin's Creed, and I wasn't too into that at the time. But you know, those original games hold a special place. Modern Warfare 2. I'm just naming games that I used to love as a kid. What else is great? Yeah, I said Fallout New Vegas. I've been playing Cyberpunk recently for the first time. I've been enjoying that. It's pretty cool. I think Cyberpunk I think is an example like with Skyrim, where and this is now after they fixed all the broken stuff and whatever, added new updates. Hey, look at that! I forget this guy. But I think that's an example of like a game which, coming from playing stuff like D&D and other RPGs and like Oblivion and Skyrim and all those, you know, there's a lot of times in Cyberpunk where I'll go, you know, I really wanna approach this quest in a different way, or I wanna take on this thing uniquely, and I feel more restricted than I have in maybe some other games that I enjoy, and I'm still kind of quiet compared to the game. This is crazy. I have no idea how this is possible. I have everything turned down so low with the game. Maybe I'm a double streamer or something. You know, oh my god, I'm so dumb. Oh! Alright, I am actually super dumb. I have been streaming the desktop audio twice this entire stream, which is why I was playing with one slider, but just if I scrolled down I would have seen that my other so that's why it's been super loud, is because the other one's been way up high. Oh my god. I'm sorry, chat. It's been a while. It's been a while. I'm gonna turn down my mic now a little bit to make sure I'm not, you know, destroying your ears, because you probably turned it down to not listen to the game at like full volume. If your FNAF game is released, the FNAF 1 reboot game is not released yet, and I can't really give you a definitive release date beyond this year, unfortunately. How much lore have you gathered so far? Actually, not much. I've been talking a lot about other stuff, but yeah, I think we can talk about the lore a little bit when I'm not like kind of fighting for my life. I think let's play through it, collect the lore, and then talk about it, because I do want to go through stuff a little more carefully, and it's hard to do that when I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to die. Why does that sound keep cutting off? I don't like that. It's actually worse that it's cutting off. Peck6462 has become an unaware of truth there. Welcome to the club. This is my favorite render of Mangle. It's so good. Yeah. Now there's no game audio. Okay, hang on. Tell me if you can hear it now. It might be just that it was too low. See, that was because I kept turning it down earlier to try and fix the problem, but I was turning down the wrong one. Or I had two of them going, and one of them was super loud. So it wasn't changing anything. Whoa. Lord, the soda cup on the desk is Williams. He doesn't clean up after himself. There is actually the implication in the week before that the cup on the desk is the day guard's, and that the day guard doesn't clean up after himself. and he chews gum, which is a nod to the day guard of FNAF 1 being Mike, which is really interesting that he was like on day shift while Ralph was on night shift and they switched over. So kind of like the opposite of what happens with Fritz or with Jeremy and William. Oh my god, I'm already out of flashlight. That's crazy. How was I using up that much? Oh, I didn't check. Oh dear. Oh my lord. Let's go! Let's go! I locked it in. I locked it so hard. There we go. Alright, so lore the same date as FNAF 1, but in 1987 to one Jeremy Fitzgerald. Interesting. Look at that. It's pretty good. Oh dear. Okay, so interesting. All right, let's talk a little bit about the lore, because this is playing OG FNAF to find lore. Okay. So we hear about this investigation going on during the week, right? And the investigation is said to be like, oh, it's just rumor and speculation. These things happen sometimes, you know. Oh, we deny any wrongdoing. And then they start sniffing around the first day guard, who makes a run for it. And the whole time they're talking about how, like, oh, there's these robots with the facial recognition. So the assumption is, okay, well, the old ones are sitting in the back room because they were already stuffed with the kids. They smell, they stink, they look ugly, and Fazbear doesn't want to bother remaking them because they're kind of a lost cause already. Or there could be more sinister reasons to not repairing them because of the dead bodies. And that these toys have facial recognition because this has happened already, right? Or you can go with what I think is more reasonable if you just play the games and don't like start thinking about every single pixel and every single minigame, is that they have facial recognition because Charlie died in the previous Freddy's, and that this event is the MCI. Now, there are a handful of problems with that, and I don't even necessarily believe it to be true of the games now, but I think there is a strong argument to be made that when FNAF 2 came out, that was the original idea, was that this was a prequel about the MCI, and that the Bite of 87 happened because all the animatronics were freaking out because of the MCI. Because otherwise, this is a prequel to a game which set up the Bite of 87 and a bunch of kids going missing, and instead of doing a prequel about either of those things, a third new event was created in the same year as the Bite, and that was the thing that was expanded upon. And I know some people have argued, like, oh yeah, the whole point is to show that this is not a once-off thing. This is a villain who's going to return, and like he didn't get arrested, whatever. I think 1 to 3 are very much more they're a lot more impactful if they're the story of these 5 kids and what happened to them and how it led to their killer being punished and how they get freed, right? Yeah, this, to be honest, nowadays FNAF 2 almost feels like filler lore-wise, other than the God Victim stuff. Yeah, well that's the thing, right? Is I had a whole section of my God Victim video, which was basically like, if you believe God Victim, there is a strong argument for MCI 87, given the connections between Fredbear's The Crying Child, FNAF 2, and God Victim. But I cut it out of that video because it's not something I necessarily believe. I think it's just an interesting way to look at things. And because I knew that if that was in there, people would go, oh my god, God Victim means MCI 87? Well, MCI 87 is ridiculous. I don't believe that. And then they would have dismissed God Victim with it. Whereas God Victim works without MCI 87, but I think MCI 87 is really strengthened by God Victim. Problems being the in-between night cutscenes based on interpretations, and Foxy Go Go Go. Yeah, so Foxy Go 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 is... There's 2 problems. The main problem, I'd say, is the paycheck, because it's dated to November of 1987, and the kids are supposedly killed in June of 1985 in Frights and the Silver Eyes. And there's a couple of counters. They're all kind of copy answers. What I will say is that Foxy being twitchy, attributed to things going wrong, I think could be a hint that, like... See, yes, there's arguments both ways. I think in fairness, like, Foxy Go Go Go, even if it's not like a literal event that's being depicted... Ralph mentioning that one was always twitchy is interesting, because that's kind of like in the way he says about the puppet, oh, you know, I never liked that thing. It's always thinking and it goes everywhere, blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff is very much, you know, is very much in favor of it being the MCI 85, and that Foxy was an active animatronic during that period. There are also arguments to be made that Foxy is sometimes depicted as having been out of order since the start. So the robot literally could just be twitchy. But I think, the other defense against Foxy Go 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 being in 85 is it's a mini game. They're all just mini games which are actual arcade machines which have been, twisted by the memories of these ghosts. And so him seeing those 5 kids is not Foxy ran out of Pirates Cove one day in 1985 and saw a bunch of dead kids, because nobody who even believes MCI 85 because of Foxy Go 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 believes that the kids were lined up in front of Pirate Cove. So like, I could argue, well, just because there's a Pirate Cove arcade machine in Freddy's doesn't mean that this is depicting an event which occurred at the same time. In the same way that, like, Elizabeth didn't die in a big open green field. It's just that that's an arcade game with Circus Baby feeding ice cream to people, and it gets corrupted by the ghosts to show what happened to Elizabeth. So, like, Foxy running into a bunch of dead kids might just be the kids being dead, full stop. And Scott was being too non-literal about it. Even take Cake to the Children. One could argue, like, it doesn't matter that Freddy is Freddy in that game, that Cake Bear looks like Freddy, because that's just a Freddy game in the FNAF 2 location. But the events being depicted outside are just a reflection of, like, yeah, a kid died outside of a building like this, But those are very loose interpretations of the minigames. And it kind of gets a bit, picky and choosy if you can't say, oh yeah, they're all important or they're not important and they're too, non-literal. Why doesn't the newspaper talk about the DCI? This is an interesting one. If the DCI is a thing, why is the newspaper so focused on the animatronics malfunctioning? You'd think that the newspaper headline would be, murderer on the run. 5 more kids have disappeared at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. When will the horrors stop? Instead, it's like, oh, well, there's these reports of the animatronics, like, freaking out and malfunctioning. I just thought of, like, that as Killbot's evidence, right? Let me get the FNAF 2 newspaper up. And let's reread what it says. It's hard for me to share screens in this mode, so let me switch over. Now, here we are. So, let's open this up. After being open only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of possible reorganization of the company. It's a minor setback. We are confident that we will reopen someday, even if it's with a much smaller budget. So, like, this is weird, right? It's a minor setback. 5 more children have just died. Is this to be like a commentary on the CEO being like, oh, I don't know, I don't care. A minor, is it a pun? It's a minor setback. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. Because there's a police investigation going on. Like, the building, surely this is like public information. Right. Yeah, because secret confidence, you're saying maybe they hid the DCI's existence. But then again, Ralph's phone calls imply they or whatever else happened was found out. Like, let's look at the opening. Vintage pizzeria. Fredbear's given new life. Come be a part of the new face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. What could go wrong? Right. So that's a bit of wink and a nod to the player. It's just, if this is supposed to be like the headline is robots scrapped. Like, if the idea is that, you know, inside this article somewhere later it goes, Oh, and also, by the way, these 5 kids are still missing. It's just interesting. Robots scrapped, which obviously would make you think Bite of 87. But then the weird thing is possible malfunctions is interesting, because you think the Bite of 87 would be a pretty obvious malfunction. Right? Like, oh, a guy is missing his head, which makes me think this newspaper is written before everything, is kind of confirmed about the bite. Before the bite happens. Because Ralph does say, oh, we're probably going to have to close down. So then, you can imagine that news is leaking to the reporters. They're writing this article, and just on the very last day before the robots are scrapped, he gets bitten, and that's the tragedy. Or these robots are scrapped, but the Withers are still around and they get him. Maybe that's what this is supposed to be. Possible malfunctions is interesting. I mean, we gotta do the classic. We gotta go check out Ralph's audio transcripts. New summer job, June. I don't know. At the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week and help you get started on this new exciting career path. I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location. Committed to family fun and above all safety. So obviously, if the MCI has occurred, this line makes sense. If Charlie died outside, that also makes sense. Left to rot is both, true of the building, and also is kind of like, rot is an interesting word if there was a bunch of kids killed there. But that also applies for Charlie. Small fortune on the new animatronics, facial recognition, advanced mobility. This is the interesting part. They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? Meaning, like, this is obviously a line for Scott trying to trick us into thinking it's a sequel, not a prequel. But this kind of implies this is a new thing. Which, like, huh? The ones in Freddy's didn't walk around? Because it's called advanced mobility, right? They can detect a predator a mile away. We should be paying them to guard you. Criminal database, right? So that also means, what we could take that to mean is like, oh, the last guy was caught, and so, he was caught but not convicted. So if he comes back, then we'll recognize him, through the criminal database. Or it could mean, oh, the guy was never caught for killing that little girl outside, so we got to tie them into this database in case it comes up, or it's just to, like, put people at ease. One or the other. No system is better than kink. You're the second guard to work that location. First guy finishes week, complain to get conditions. He expressed concern that certain characters seem to move around at night, and even attempted to get around his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. We don't have an explanation. The robots were never given a proper night mode. When it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. They go and try and find the people are in that case. Now, this is where this is really interesting. Certain characters are temporary solution. There is a music box. So, certain characters, music box. I know he says characters plural, which does imply that the others were probably up and about. But I just find it really interesting, if, say, the puppet is the one controlling the toys, certain characters, and that this prize counter music box thing is specifically can counter the one that he was complaining about, which is the puppet. And then everyone else, it doesn't affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. So he even knows that this is the one that affects. And that's Ralph doesn't like this one. As for the rest of them, there's an easier solution. So there is, as for the rest of them, right? So there is some precedent for them walking around at night. There's a glitch in the system, so you can put on the Freddy head. Problem solved, right? And this is to do with the new robots, right? Because we find out later that applies to the Wizards as well, but probably because they got the new technology, which is what they also show in the movie. Something else worth mentioning is kind of modern design of the building. No doors. That's another sequel prequel thing. Flashlight, building cannot, etc. Should be golden. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head, keep the music box wound up, piece of cake. Have a good night. Piece of cake? Piece of cake, you say? Golden? Have a good night. So this is now, I'm sure by now you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location. We used to use them for parts. Now the idea at first was to repair them. They started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, but they were so ugly, you know, and the smell. Again, I would argue this could be evidence for MCI 85, or equally it could be evidence for sequel, not a prequel trick, because he's making you go, oh, the characters are smelly because of the stuff we read in the newspapers, but thinking of that as like a future event, right? Like after FNAF 1 they still smell and they look gross. They've gotten all broken down, and then when the game reveals no, the kids were just killed, then you go, oh, they were just smelly because they were smelly. That's crazy. So, you know, company decided to go in a whole new direction, super kid friendly. Now this is interesting. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around. Do you guys think this means, and I mean this in terms of when Scott was making the game, not when, like now, when we have like the Mimic in 1970, you know. Do you think this is supposed to imply that the classics or the Wizards or whatever couldn't walk around? Like the toys are the first suits to walk around? Because we later find out that the spring locks can also walk around, which I want to talk about. But the older ones shouldn't be able to walk around. Interesting, if you consider the fact that the toys being able to walk around is seeming to be like a cool thing. But if they do, then the whole Freddy Quid trick should work on them too. So, whatever. Foxy the Pirate, the Freddy head trick will work on Foxy. For some reason, if for some reason he activates during the night and you see him standing at the far end of the hall, just flash your light at him from time to time. Those older models would always get disoriented with bright lights. Cause a system restart or something. Bright lights. I know the flashlight obviously is the bright lights, but I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we see that's a bright light that could kind of like indicate something that broke them? One more thing, don't forget the music box. I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking it can go anywhere. This is like the first like not sequel, prequel kind of thing that we're getting. This is just information about the puppet. Ralph don't like it. It's been doing this weird stuff for a while. Then night 3, did Foxy ever appear in the hallway? It was always my favorite. This is an interesting bit I brought up in my sister location video. They tried to remake Foxy, you know, they thought the first one was too scary, so they redesigned it to be a bit more kid friendly and put him in Kids Cove. Kids these days just can't keep their hands to themselves. The staff literally had to put Foxy back together after every shift, so eventually they stopped trying and left him as some take apart. Blah, blah, blah. The staff literally had to put Foxy. They've actually edited it here. I'm almost certain he said had to.
I said he was always my favorite. Left him as some kind of. I'm trying and left him as some kind of thing that every. The staff literally had to put Foxy back.
Had to, not has. Had to put Foxy back together at the end of every shift. So eventually they stopped trying, which is like, what, this happened in a week? We're on week 2 and they've already given up and the Mangle is already the Mangle. Employees have come up with a name by day 3 of week 2. I think they tried to remake Foxy. I think Funtime Foxy came from the other location, came from the last one, but it was the newer one. It was like more new than the others were, and so it just got brought to FNAF 2 and kind of cleaned up. Because that's what they were saying, is like, we tried to retrofit some of the old ones with the new technology, but they were so ugly, but Funtime was new, so it was fine. Then we see, want to ease your mind about any rumors you might have heard lately. Those local stories come and go and seldom mean anything. I can personally assure you that whatever is going on out there, however tragic it may be, has nothing to do with our establishment. It's all just rumor and speculation. People trying to make a buck, you know. Our guard during the day has reported nothing unusual, and he's on watch from opening till close. So, there's something happening outside of the restaurant, or something happening to people outside of the restaurant during the day, and it would be expected that the day guard could report on it. Which, when you consider Save Them, William's got to be the night guard because the animatronics are up and about. So it's happening during the day. Whatever's happening out there during the day has nothing to do with us. And it's people trying to make a buck as well, right? And something, and this could just be me being naive, but I don't know, would Ralph say that, like, oh, someone's trying to claim that their kidnapped child came from here? They're trying to make a buck? How? By suing you or something? Like, that's a pretty insane way to make a buck, you know? Now, if there was something like, oh, these robots are freaking out, or they're, you know, I saw one walking around during the day, like outside, or, you know, kidnapping somebody or whatever, I don't know. That'd be different. But the guard has to be there as well, right? Like the guard, because the guard is William, as far as we can tell, to the best of our knowledge. So if the guard during the day is doing nothing unusual, and he's on watch from opening till close, then whatever's happening should surely be in the building, unless it's not to do with something that William's doing. Let me see. Here's a theory for your theory. What if Funtime Foxy wasn't made as a tie-in to Circus Babies, but was made to replace Foxy after he began to act twitchy? Yeah, well, the first one is deemed too scary, right? So they make Mangle. So that could definitely tie into the twitchiness of the original Foxy. People trying to make a buck by reporting the story. Could it be possible Scott didn't think much of in detail and there's potentially explore in a later game, because we know he does that sometimes? Maybe, but to me, the entire second game being a plotline that never gets picked up is less likely, right? Like the whole DCI and everything like that, just him going full steam ahead with it for FNAF 2 and then completely changing his mind and being like, nah, never mind, I'll go back to the other kids. I'll get back to those other 5 or 6 a different time. That's just my thought on it, though. Hey there, Night 4. I told you get the hang of it. Just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. I might have to end up... Hang on. No way. What? Okay. Sorry, I just went quiet there. My brain is ticking away. Scott said there's Endo 02 lore that we've never figured out, right? Endo 02 is a character which can move around on its own. That we don't have a purpose for. And is not easily identifiable. Right? So, in FNAF world, I've never seen this before, not as cute, but more useful. This is Endo 02's loading screen. Let me just double check Endo 01, because yeah, it's not more useful. So this is Power Song, Armor Song, Endo Army. Endo 2 is a really good character. It has a speed song, which can increase the character's speed for 1 minute. Summons 3 temporary endoskeletons with lasers. The damage enemies over time. Summons a shield that will block 50% of damage. Template increases. Okay. So, more useful mechanics-wise could absolutely be true. But my brain is ticking away. If there's this idea of something going out during the day while William is in the building, and people are like, it must be one of those Fazbear things. And then Fazbear are like, no. We don't have anything to do with it. Could it possibly make sense? This would be so silly. There's no way. That Endo 02 is leaving the building during the day and doing stuff for William. How Endo 02 solves FNAF 2. If he were seen, he wouldn't have a suit on, which would mean he may not immediately be able to be tied back to Fazbear. That's not our robot. You know? Am I crazy? Is this like a proto fun time? But this would be after or during the same time. If I'm doing MCI 87, then it would be around the same time as Elizabeth and the fun times. Elizabeth was killed and the fun times existed. Scrapped endos were used to create the fun times. See, I think Elizabeth before MCI. So the fun times have to exist before, or at least around the same time as the toes. As the toes? Toys. It has 3 toes. Oh, it's inaccurate in FNAF World. That's funny. Interesting. Has it been ever confirmed that the other fun times existed? I think that if any of them didn't exist, it would have been Funtime Freddy. I have a couple of reasons to think that, mostly because his design seems to be like making up for stuff the others could do. Like he can do a bit of everything, whereas the others are kind of more like to work as a unit. But the boardroom guy says he references like these machines are state of the art or something, right? He mentions them as like a plural. See, the toy killbots thing, I'm not so sure, because the toys don't match these, right? These are not toy footprints. These, though, are very much the correct shape of like three very clear toes and a rounded foot. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of different characters that could fit this, and Endo 02 would definitely not be my first choice. But the idea that Endo 02 is something more important than just like, you know, haha funny Easter egg character could be very interesting. He's at the puppets box and he's in the vent. I wonder if there was anything in particular. Yeah, I've said it before. The toys don't use Endo 02. This is the Withered's endoskeleton. Just certain, like, these wouldn't fit into Withered Chica's feet either. But Foxy has the ears. Bonnie has like the leg or something showing. They are very. I'll just show you. Withered Foxy FNAF 2. He's got the Endo 02. It was Withered Foxy outside in Midnight Motorist. That'd be interesting if it were Michael Runaway. Anyone thought of that? Foxy lore? Midnight Motorist Foxy? But yeah, Endo 02 is very clearly the one inside the Withereds, not the classics. Or not the toys. The Withers are retrofitted. I mean, we can go back and forth on if these are new robots, the old ones. I mean, saying they tried, they started retrofitting them with the old technology, meaning we put an entire new skeleton and suit on them and then abandoned it. I just don't, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it fits to me. I feel like Scott either didn't care about the art style change, or he was like, yeah, the classics and the Withereds are different physical robots. Or one gets turned into the other. The Withereds came first. At the time, anyway. I don't know about now. Something I wanted to bring up was something very interesting I saw pointed out in Hyperdroid's FNAF 2 video. FNAF 2 Party Room 3, is it? No, Party Room 2. Oh, wait, yeah. This one. Whatever this one is. Oh, that's a really, really tiny image. Party Room 2. Party Room 1. Party Room 4. There we go. So something something that Hyperdroid pointed out is that in Save Them, this party room here, which is Party Room 4, wherever it is, Party Room 4, right? Like, let's just double check. Yeah, Party Room 4, which is this one, has two tables, one of which has a bloodstain underneath, and Mangle's room has no table. But then if we look at these renders, this is the only party room without a second table. And Kids Cove in... where is it? Has a table. And basically the idea was that Kids Cove has had this table moved in here since whatever the event was that had the bloodstain underneath, which I think is really cool. And something else I noticed about this room in particular, not only does it have the very creepy haunted, you know, paper plate dolls, which I'm now thinking, because the paper pal, this paper pal is the only one that moves in this game. I always thought it was like the puppet, right? Like it just kind of looks like the puppet. Like in terms of if a kid was trying to make stuff out of streamers and whatever, they didn't have like black and white strips, they just do different colors. It's got the 3 buttons. The marionette doesn't have a nose. Blue Boy only has 2 buttons. He's got red and blue going on, which is better, and a smile. Doesn't have the cheeks, doesn't have the hat, doesn't have the balloon, obviously. But essentially what I was going to say is, could this just be Kid? Like, could this just be Kid who hid under the table in this room? Like, haunting this little paper pal? It's clearly Jackie. In Help Wanted 2, there are 6 missing hats from the tables. No way. What? Help Wanted 1. How would I find that? Fazant, if you want, we can hop in a call. Let me go off. Let me go off my share screen so I can open up Discord. Let me see. Fazbear Entertainment. Okay, so Fazbear is not able to join now, but he's got pics. Well, if that's true, that's very interesting. But yeah, something else that I noticed about this room is that these drawings on the wall are the same ones as are in the office, right? Or some of them are anyway, right? And I know there's reused images throughout the game. It's not a big deal, but just if we take this room to be particularly important in terms of the DCI, we take the FNAF 2 office. We can open this up. We've got the Golden Freddy speaking to some kid. We've got Chica speaking to some kid. We got the kid pulling the eye out. We have, I think that's the puppet one. Maybe it's not all of the same. Yeah, it's a different puppet one, and the 2 Mangle ones, and then the Golden Freddy one and the Chica one. I just wonder if it's relevant that this one is in this room. The Golden Freddy one. Because that's a very, very, very interesting one in this game, is that image of Golden Freddy luring a kid away. FNAF 2 Golden Freddy drawing. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Poster. Let's probably the best one we're going to get. So it's basically got Golden Freddy, a kid, a bunch of other kids listening to music, little lines coming out of Golden Freddy, and one kid turning around and looking at him. Right? This, to me, because there are lines indicating music, because there are kids faced away, and because there are lines coming out of Golden Freddy, this is to indicate Golden Freddy is speaking. This is the only kid that's listening to him, and these are kids listening to music on stage. Now, whether or not that is William in the suit, or if that is the ghost of the crying child, or Cassidy or something speaking, we don't know. But we had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Somebody used it, none of them are acting right. It's very interesting. There it is again in the Mangle's room. I wonder how many times it shows up in the game. Something I will say that's interesting about Golden Freddy in this game is the way he appears as a giant head, which I can't believe it now. I didn't kind of connect in the video, but like, if FNAF 2 is Fredbear's, him appearing as a giant floating murderous head kind of works if this is the same building as the crying child was bitten in. Right. Something interesting I wanted to mention about these phone calls is the FNAF 3 phone calls are very interesting if you line them up as though they are meant to be taken together. And again, I don't even necessarily believe MCI 87. I think there's more evidence against it than there is. I think there's lots of evidence for it. I think there is just very important pieces of evidence against it. But I think it's an interesting way to read the games nonetheless. And I think it's probably an easier conclusion to come to if you just play the games through and don't, agonize over every detail. But if we look at the Ralph stuff in these games, you were the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in the FNAF 2 newspapers, which I have now lost, actually. Let me get them back up. FNAF 2 newspapers. Come be a part of the new face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You were the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Let me see. There's other stuff. For ease of operation, the animatronics are set and turned to walk towards sound cues. In the FNAF 2... Let me go here. FNAF 2. In the FNAF 2 thing, when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. They go and try and find where the people are. In that case, this is your office. The animatronics are set to walk towards sound cues. Easy hands-free approach. Stay where the children are. Maximum entertaining, crowd-pleasing value. To change them to suit mode, insert and turn firmly the hand crank provided by the manufacturer. Cover this in more detail. Remember to smile, you're the face of Freddy. Blah, 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 blah. When using an animatronic as a suit, please ensure the animatronic parts are tightly compressed and fastened. Try to go out of populated areas, not to ruin customer experience. If this were one thing I want to say, if this was the reopening of FNAF, the Freddy's, which is like in the FNAF 2 location, it would make sense that they would have to train a bunch of new people in Springlocks. Let me see. We have a safe room that wouldn't be on camera, and I know people are going to say it's in the FNAF 1 building, but I'll get to that. Slight change of company policy using the suits. The sister location Springlock failure happens. They're unfit for employees. Safety is top priority at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is why the classic suits are being retired to an appropriate location. Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all safety. Until replacements arrive, they'll be expected to wear the temporary costumes provided to you. They're found at very short notice, so questions about appropriateness/relevance. I think this is in reference to the Happiest Day minigame, where there's a bunch of random masks and stuff around. Classic suits are not to be touched, activated, or worn. We're free of liability. You're the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza again. Safe room is for properties not currently being used. Backup safety location. It's not a break room. It's not a place for employees to hide and congregate. A customer should never be taken into this room and out of the main show area. The Spring Bonnie animatronic has also been noticeably moved. These are not safe to wear. So, if we're taking this as the idea of this is like the flip side to FNAF 2, then this would be around the rumors starting of like, I saw somebody getting led into the back room. And the day guard's like, no, I've never seen that happen. But Ralph is like, okay, just in case, don't do that. And also, Spring Bonnie's moving around, so stop that. I've always wondered if Spring Bonnie noticeably being moved means, oh, you know, yesterday he was sitting against that wall and now today he's sitting against that wall, or if that means he's disappeared, like the robot is gone. Probably the former, because I don't think they'd be taking too kindly to people stealing their robots, but it's just a question of semantics. This is to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. Work crews are here for the most day constructing a false wall over the old door face. Budget restrictions. Budget restrictions. We will reopen someday, even if it is with a much smaller budget. Obviously, closing safe rooms is not going to save money. It's going to cost money. But it's a good excuse to hide all those people that were just killed. Right? Don't mention it to insurance representatives. People are just trying to make a quick buck, you know. Ralph is just saying Spring Bonnie has been moved emotionally, lol. He went to the fucking opera. The Spring Bonnie animatronic has been contemplating his life. Ralph Care. That's interesting. Again, if you only play the games just 1, 2, and 3, one after the other, the basic story is very clear. Right? But I actually think that there are very good and important arguments against that simple story being the case. So it's why I don't necessarily say I'm MCI 87 all the way, but I'm like, I feel like it should kind of be that way, which is obviously why I went that direction in Heyday. DV's offline. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm between two minds when it comes to the DCI. Either it didn't happen and FNAF 2 is poorly written, or it did happen and Scott is a bad writer for never resolving the story thread. Yeah, I mean, you know, some people argue that the reason the toy spirits don't show up again is because the robots were scrapped. And so the kids moved on. I would argue that by FNAF 3, Scott was not establishing that scrapping a robot meant the spirit moved on. If anything, he kind of established the opposite in FNAF 3, where the robots being destroyed in Follow Me does not set them free. Because it's not until we play through the Happiest Day minigames that we sort of like free them from the memories. So the DCI being scrapped, it's like, yeah, their robots have been destroyed, but like, what happened to those ghosts? You know, I'm just thinking now, if the DCI did have 6 characters and MCI 87 was true, then we'd have a 6th member of the DCI or of the MCI. Andrew's back, baby. He's canon. I feel like the movie kind of gave us an idea that the toys became violent because of the puppet and the agony of Charlie. I believe the secret minigames of the toys are supposed to be their spirits moving on. See, the only issue with that is there's no minigame, except for maybe Take Cake, depending on how you interpret that game, where we play as the toys, right? You play as the puppet, you play as Freddy, you play as Withered Freddy, you play as Foxy. And am I forgetting one? That's it, right? So, and the toys don't get any jump scares. We get a puppet jump scare, a Foxy jump scare, a Golden Freddy jump scare, and no jump scare in Save Them. Save Them not having a jump scare and that you can't thing, I find quite interesting. Because what if the idea is it is the DCI, there is 6 kids, the puppet is asking Freddy to save them by bringing them to life, right? As their, like, the puppet Happiest Daying, or sorry, not Give Gifts, Give Life was the puppet animating the characters somehow. And the puppet was asking Freddy to help doing that, right? Like, let's save them. And William says, you can't. And the idea is that the DCI did not possess anything. And that's why they're left out in the open. Is it was for some other reason that William killed the kids. It wasn't to possess the toys. It was to research something else. Maybe it is to research like agony in the building, things going wrong, rather than the robots coming to life. Like, the question is why, though? And is the answer just because he's a serial killer? You know, because again, FNAF 2, it's not Scientist William. Puppet is called Phantom on files for Save Them. Yeah, Phantom, I think just, it's like saying, yeah, she's a ghost. There's a ghost in there. It could also have been an early name for the puppet. We don't know. I don't particularly think it ties into the Phantom animatronics, though, personally. Oh, I meant that the FNAF 3 minigames of the spirits possess the toys moving on. I think the coloration of the characters being, like, with Foxy has like a darker color mask. Well, I would argue that I don't blame you for tying the toys into that game, because all of the FNAF 3 minigames are about FNAF 2 characters, and then they lead to a FNAF 1 character. So you play as Toy Chica, you play as Mangle, you play as RWQ, FS, blah, 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 blah. Fredbear, who is only mentioned in FNAF 2, right? So it's the kind of like still tying it to what's going on with FNAF 2. Fredbear's, especially if FNAF 2 is reopened Fredbear's, so Fredbear's is one of them. And Balloon Boy. so it's like, again, FNAF 3 has all these ties to FNAF 2, but not in the way of, oh yeah, there's these kids that we're saving. Um, William was going to steal the toys, but he saw 6 teenagers, killed them, and went along with it. The teenagers thing, to me, is like, I think we need an indication of that in the game. I like a lot of the theories surrounding them, and I like putting the pieces together, especially like when you kind of rope in the Silver Eyes and stuff. My only issue is, like, there's no indication in the game that anyone's breaking into Freddy's. Right? There's no indication of, like, oh, we had a little incident last week with somebody trying to break in, but, you know, he scared him off or whatever. Like, there's nothing about anyone getting into Freddy's after hours. Turns out the puppet was a hallucination the whole time. Charlie is a projection. BB being possessed seems iffy. He's not a direct threat to you, but he disables the flashlight to leave you open for Foxy. All the FNAF 3 minigames about FNAF 2 characters because give gifts give life. It was the start of the possession. That's why Golden Freddy jump scares you. See, my issue, because I agree that in FNAF 2, give gifts give life definitely implies the puppet brought them to life, right? My issue with that, and why I find it ropey to say, oh yeah, give gifts give life, is obviously the puppet bringing the other characters to life, and like Charlie can die whenever, but you know, she can be the first possession or whatever. The issue with that to me is there's no other example in the series of a character who needs to be brought to life after their death. It's like it just happens. Hey, and whether it's Theffy. So RRI, I missed the stream. I'm doing my radio show. Hey, Theffy, how's it going? Hope you're having a good time and enjoy doing your radio show. Hope it's going well. Thank you very much for the donation. I don't know what RRI means. Oh, sorry, I missed the stream. Sorry. No worries at all. No need to apologize. Oh, T-Dreads. T-Dreads has appeared. Let's get him in. I missed a call from him just a second ago. Let's get him in here.
I'm all alone with no one with her, all my own.
Here we are. How's it going?
Like me. Oh, it's going great now that you freaking ghosted me.
Everyone say hello to T-Dreads.
Freaking cyberbully.
Cancelled within 5 seconds of joining.
Yeah. You're freaking canceled now, buddy.
FNAF 2. I beat 1 to 5, and now we're talking FNAF 2 lore. We're talking MCI, DCI. I had an idea, and you'll like it because it's murder bots, right? You had the whole
oh boy
Endo 2 is important thing, the Scott Cawthon thing. I was thinking about
that was
like,
me, not Fredden. No one likes Fredden.
You know, you and Fredden.
Yeah.
But like, it's got the same toes as Midnight Motorist. I can't even remember if you said that, but he's got the three. We did. Very prominent toes. And I was thinking that Ralph says something happening out there. It's nothing to do with our establishment. People trying to make a buck, you know. The day guard has not reported nothing unusual. So like the day guard is William. So whatever's happening is happening on William's watch, but it's happening out there. So what could William be reporting on, you know, well,
Yeah, I
if
think
there was like
Midnight
a robot
Motorist might
leaving,
not have been an isolated incident. Yeah.
if the idea is Endo 2, it's also like not dressed up, right? It's not in a suit, so it's not going to be as recognizable as a Fazbear thing. So if it's just roaming around and people are like, I saw a big scary skeleton, I bet it's from those robot boys down the street, and they're like, no, not one of ours.
Who would follow that though? What kid would? I feel like the kid would have to be a character, so the kid would be like, "Oh my gosh, Chica!" They'd follow it. All I'm saying is we got 2 movies in a row where animatronics pull up to the crib. That's all I'm saying. So
Bro's got an illusion disc.
I wouldn't put it past William Afton to be like, it's so much work to pick the kids to murder. I'm just gonna get Uber. It's gonna get Uber Eats, but for Remnant. Uber Remnant.
Yeah, well, unless the idea is that the Endo 2 is just breaking in. I did read the FNAF World character line of Endo 2 is not as cute but more useful. Is
exactly
the Endo 2's loading screen quote, which is interesting. But how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Did you see Gibby's getting actually blasted in the comments of my last stream? It's actually insane.
I have not.
Oh, it's actually so crazy.
Wait, why is Endo 2's attack animation it exploding into a million pieces?
Well, because that's Shatter Victim, don't you see?
Oh, I see. Of course. He went to Midnight Motorist and he broke the window by exploding.
Remember the Leon Riskin audio?
He just burst. But sorry, what's he? Is it just because he was like critical of the theory?
Yeah, he's just like, I don't agree with this.
But like everyone was being constructive.
No, in fact, I remember the part where Gibby whipped out a gun and shot the uploader of that video through the screen. I remember.
Oh, I forgot about that actually.
He basically killed him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything that he was saying was stuff that I'd already kind of said either to you guys, about the video, or had kind of thought after I watched it. And again, it's a good video, like it's a well-made video, and I think, as you said at the beginning of the stream, it's clearly a video not made for like, I've studied FNAF as like my only interest.
Yeah, it's definitely a beginner
years.
Video. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, you come across this, you've heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, and you open this up, and he explains FNAF to you in a new perspective. And that's why he glosses over stuff like Fredbear's being Freddy's in his interpretation, because most people watching it won't go, wait a minute, what? Most people watching it'll just be like, okay, I didn't even know there was such a thing, and people like us go, there's no way it could be Freddy's. It's gotta be a Fredbear because this, and this, and it's just like, it's not relevant.
But it's also probably a problem with the way him and I, and even you, we all address, like, when we think something's not true or when we have a point, we all address going about it differently. So whereas Gibby is very serious with his criticism, for example, Gibby would be like, well, I don't think it's Freddy's because of all this, and this. Instead, when I'm criticizing it, I go, me when I low-key put Fredbear's big-ass head on the wall twice in my Freddy's restaurant.
Yes.
That's how I address it.
You're saying the same thing. You're having the same criticism. It just sounds... He's doing a more like academic breakdown of why...
Yeah, and I'm doing brain rot slop.
You're doing brain rot.
Yeah. Me when I low-genuinely put Fredbear's giant head on the wall of my Freddy's restaurant. Pull me in, coach. I got hats to show. Fazbear, what does that even mean?
Bro had an interesting thing to say. We were talking about this earlier. Let me add him in.
Okay.
Frederick Fazbear. All right. They're coming in, guys. They're coming in hot.
Come on, Fazchid. Fazchid.
It's also interesting.
All right, well, you guys talk about this. I'm going to do some jumping jacks.
Of course.
Be right back.
I don't think I have the pictures, but I'm just loading into the game, and I'm going to screen share it to you.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just realized Endo 2 only comes out if the puppet's out. Does that imply that Endo02 is hiding in the puppet's box?
Well, as we know, the puppet controls toys.
Okay. Screen
Sorry, I'm
sharing
supposed to be doing jumping jack.
now. All right, so if you go to FNAF 2, you load in. Doesn't matter what night. I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna turn on preview mode.
I'm streaming
You go
your,
free
your sharing,
cam.
by the way.
Yeah, I figured. Um, yeah, so if you look at the tables, right, there's one hat missing right here,
Okay.
and then there are 5 hats missing right here.
Interesting. What room is this? This is party room.
Me when
1?
help wanted. Low genuinely confirms Andrew.
This would be party room, whichever this one is. This would be the office right here.
Beck, we'll go to
So-
alligator emoji, please.
I don't know which party
Do
room
they
it
have
would
the
be.
missing table in one of the rooms? They do.
This is actually
Yeah.
known as the missing table incident. It's one of the.
I guess-
have you seen Hyperdroid's video?
Oh no,
Not the
it wouldn't
MCI.
be this one immediately to the left. It would be the one up and to the left.
Up and to the right is the one that's missing the table with the paper pal in it. That in the game, it's also missing the table, which is the one behind you there.
Yeah. So it's this one
It's
here.
got no party.
yeah,
hats
but
in the other
I-
one as well.
Yeah. I found this interesting because you can tell, so like if you look at the pattern, right, it's blue, orange, red, purple, green, you know, whatever. I remember I counted the pattern before, and if you come over here to these ones, these are the same tables with the same hats, but they
Oh.
specifically removed hats for the party room ones. Like they copied the asset and then removed
I can
hats from
see,
it.
Yeah.
So it was
Very
definitely like it wasn't just like an error; it was an intentional detail that they put in because every
Yeah, so
other
Mangle
table
the
has
same.
hats. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And yeah, it's interesting that it's 5 and it's specifically 3 and then 2 and then 1. Because as we know, the last
Then 3,
you know,
then
the
2,
two
then
kids
1.
were lured together in the FNAF,
Yeah.
1 newspapers. So it would have been 3 and then 2, and then there's 1 by
Yeah.
itself.
Some people call me crazy, but I think it's very interesting how the Follow Me map has bloodstains on the floor in the same location as the FNAF 2 map if you overlay them over one another. And it kind of implies that FNAF 1 is an actual reopening of the FNAF 2 location, but like made smaller, like actually just split up. I've missed some super chats as well. DVS off a line, thank you very much. Is molten DCI possible? The scrap toys have parts that need to go somewhere, and it makes more sense to Follow Me taking place over several days. I personally don't think so, not because of a lore or like an evidence thing, but more of a storytelling thing, because FNAF 6 ends with the gravestones of the MCI, and I don't see that happening if the MCI moved on like 3 games ago, and this is like a new set of kids that are being dealt with in Molten Freddy. It doesn't seem like it would be a logical thing for Scott to do. Toys for Talbert, thank you very much. Golden Freddy's a projection. Pickle Prepper 900, thank you very much. FNAF 2 office has sister location wires. The drawing have new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, including Golden Freddy. Got sister location between Fredbear's and FNAF 2. Sister location wires. I would... let me see. FNAF 2 office has sister location wires. I assume you mean like the big tubing things. I would say that's just like a way Scott makes tubes, would be my first guess about that. But... The drawings of new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, including Golden Freddy. Could sister location be between Fredbear's and FNAF 2? I I don't know what the new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza thing is on about, but I don't think the game sister location is between Fredbear's and FNAF 2, but I think the location existed before FNAF 2.
I think that Circus Babies was. I think it went Fredbear's, and then the building got turned into Circus Babies, and then got turned into FNAF 2. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Because in Help Wanted and Entered Vent Repair, you start presumably in the FNAF 2 building because you have the broken down classics next to the toy animatronics. Yeah. And then it takes you into the bunker. And so I think that FNAF 2 is on top of the grounds for the bunker, and so it would make sense to me to have Circus Babies Pizza World be the FNAF 2 building.
Yeah, and then
before it's FNAF 2.
If you go with God Victim for a minute, and we assume that FNAF 2 is a reopened Fredbear's, and then they close, and then they reopen. The Circus sister location is downstairs. It's in the basement. And so when Mike says it was right where you said it would be, he means it was in my old workplace. Like it was in the, there was an elevator hidden somewhere behind, a wall or whatever in Freddy's.
Yeah.
And they were all there. Mike knows them. It's the same ones. They're just downstairs. And then FNAF 2 gets closed down and then reopens as FNAF 1. Then all the God Victim stuff connected to Fredbear's would all be within the one building. Again, presuming, DCI, MCI, or whatever, MCI 87. Because then the only thing that happens outside of the Fredbear's building is Charlie's death. I know you're going to disagree. But if it were to happen at the original Freddy's, the MCI, the 85 Freddy's, then that would make sense why William isn't stuffing anybody. It's a very different method of murder. It's outside of that kind of crying child influence over the building. Which I think is interesting.
Intriguing.
FNAF 1 can't be FNAF 2 though, right? Because Phone Guy refers to the MCI location as a separate place. See, the assumption is that because the FNAF 3 minigames, Follow Me, have a safe room, that because the MCI occurred when there was a safe room active, and then they were closed afterwards, that it has to be the 85 Freddy's gets reopened later as the FNAF 1 Freddy's because of that safe room. Because it doesn't make sense for that to exist way after the safe rooms have been closed. So it has to have already been built with one in mind. But if FNAF 2 is when the safe rooms were being used and the spring locks were active, the idea that the safe rooms were then shut off and then they reopened into FNAF 1, then the safe room, the spring lock, it would all be the same thing, but it would just be that it came from the FNAF 2 building and that there was an unrelated building which closed down where Charlie died. And that was a separate building.
Good news. I just figured out I was wrong. There are 7 hats missing. There's another table in the other room that's missing one singular hat.
So that's 5 MCI, Crying Child, and Charlie. Yeah. Or 4 MCI, Crying Child, Charlie, and Elizabeth.
But what about David?
What about him? FFPS also has a safe room in the Tails. I know, right? Ooh, go along with it. But that could mean the FNAF MC. It's the FNAF 1 MCI building too. Yeah, research and development has kind of raised a lot of questions about FNAF 6, considering its placement in relation to FNAF 6 and Security Breach. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. To be completely honest, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I've definitely thought about it before, but right now I'm blanking. Those missing party hats are very interesting.
What I've always found interesting is that the party room in the week before just has a Toy Freddy poster in it.
Yes, yeah, that's another one. Yeah, it has the Toy Freddy poster. It's a party room as well, which we don't know exist in FNAF 1. They're not shown off. And so being a party room at all is kind of a FNAF 2 reference in itself, and having a Toy Freddy poster on the wall is kind of like, okay, what are you saying? what?
Yeah.
There is a part where Ralph mentions how, man, these vents seem to go on forever. This is like way beyond the size of the building. Like I've gone much further, and that could be like a, what's that book called, The House of a Thousand Leaves or whatever, the one about the house getting bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So it could be like a ghost thing that Ralph is literally going through infinite vents, or it could be that Ralph is going, oh, I'm actually extending outward from Freddy's, and I'm going into like what used to be the FNAF 2 building, like what's left over from it.
Yeah.
The party rooms, from what I remember, would not be in the correct place if you were to do the overlaying of like the save them map and the follow me map. But
if you overlay them, this party room right here, the one immediately to the left, I don't. Let me see. Let me look at this thing. Party room 1 and party room 2 would be combined into Pirates Cove. The main hallway that you look down in FNAF 2 would be the left hallway of the security office in FNAF 1. Party room 4 would be about where the prize counter would be.
yeah.
In FNAF 1. And then the prize corner would be about where the bathrooms are and stuff like that.
Yeah. The safe room would also be past the show stage area or near the show stage area, which personally I think is a more logical place for it to be, right? As a like get away from populated areas, it's like, you're in the most populated area where you're going to be, kind of hanging out. Head into the safe room. It's just next to the stage.
Yeah. I'm working on something with dual process and Shizu, but one thing we found was that in the week before, they say that one of the party rooms is basically just a mini stage, it's basically just the main stage, but like miniaturized in its own room, and it would be right where the stage in FNAF 2 is.
Interesting. Pika Pete is in the chat. My loyal game dev companion. I have beat nights 1 to 5 of FNAF 2. We are doing lore discussions. That's really interesting about the mini stage thing. There's also in Pirate Cove, Ralph finds the Fredbear's ticket, which is covered in blood, and I think there's like a vent or something that leads off from it, which would be where like the one coming from there is, right?
Yeah, Ralph in the week before says that at the back of Pirates Cove there's a vent that leads into the office, which if you line up the maps, these two party rooms would be Pirates Cove, and there's a vent that leads down the same exact pathing he talks about.
It's very interesting. What's your take on, like, currently? What are you kind of thinking with the DCI or MCI or whatever you think happens in Save Them?
I'm always going to be hesitant for the DCI until we get gravestones for them. The only way I think the DCI makes any sense, given the history of the way stuff is presented, is if they were killed by the robots, because the Funtime victims also don't have graves. Yeah. So it makes sense to me that, like, if you're killed by a robot, you don't get a grave, but all the people killed directly by William, I think, have graves.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to be hesitant of the DCI, but I do think, these hats provide a good case for it. I'm actually, in my next video, I'm doing another, like a remake of Charlie 87. I'm going to argue for the DCI in it, but I don't fully believe it.
I'm just noticing that they've got the FNAF 3 drawings in here.
Yeah. They also have, this is
FNAF 1.
Yeah, so they have the toys and the classics here, or unwithered or whatever.
It's just interesting that they took the FNAF 3 drawings because they are of the FNAF 2 location. So one could look at that as like a retroactive, like Scott saying, you know, oh, I didn't make it clear enough it was the toys, and then I did that in 3, so put the ones in 3 in here. It could be, we made the ones from 3 first, and we can reuse them in 2. You know? The FNAF 2 section seems to be the most, like, overlooked or something, right, in Help Wanted? Because, like, they didn't have the Wizards on launch.
Yeah, the Wizards are part of the Blacklight mode, the hard mode.
Yeah, but that
they do have Foxy. Foxy is active all the time, but
yeah, but they were originally just the classics with different models, or like slightly edited models. They weren't the withered animatronics when the game came out.
Not sure. I don't remember. This is this sitting in
That's
here.
FNAF 3, yeah.
You know, I find interesting. I noticed it when you were when you're like sitting in the menu screen earlier, but the Curse of Dreadbear music is just the FNAF 2 title music.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. It's the same song.
Interesting. More 8387s.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
The Curse of Dreadbear title screen.
I don't know if it's a title screen, but when you're like just sitting in the lobby, like waiting to like click on a mini game, it's the FNAF 2 title screen is at least the lobby music of Curse of Dreadbear. I don't know if the title music for Curse of Dreadbear is the same, but
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. They're very similar. I don't know if they're the same. I can't tell. FNAF Curse of Dreadbear. Just trying to get the lobby itself.
people are saying it was made for Curse of Dreadbear and then later put into FNAF 2.
Oh, it's the FNAF 2 title screen, but the kind of new one, the actual soundtrack one for console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is exactly the same. Interesting. Man,
Did we solve the lore yet?
Yeah, we solved the lore. The title screen music for FNAF 2, the remaster one, the ones that have been made for consoles, is the same as the Curse of Dreadbear lobby music.
Weird.
I was saying more 83 and 87 business going on there. More God Victim.
Yeah.
Especially with the Curse of Dreadbear, when Dreadbear is so crying child that they're...
Yeah, the Curse of Dreadbear, the God Victim, Curse Victim, Memory Victim.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like this dreadful bear put a curse on everything. Mm.
The lobby music that solves FNAF 2. D-Dreads, what do you think of the DCI?
He thinks they're killed by killbots.
God damn. Yeah, because Curse of Dreadbear also... Yeah, because Curse of Dreadbear... Yeah, that's what it was. The Curse of Dreadbear added the Wizards. They were not in the game before Curse of Dreadbear. So... And the Wizards
right, because they put the Wizards...
Halloween minigames.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They put the Wizards in the Trick or Treat game with the FNAF 4 masks.
Which again, FNAF 4 masks, or Halloween masks, you know, with Mangle and Balloon Boy. It's like it's so weird because Scott said very definitively that Matt Pack got it right when he said there was a byte of 83 and a byte of 87. And then the week before doubles down on that and says, yeah, it happened 4 years later. And yet there's so much stuff that's just like, nah, FNAF 2, byte of 87. You know, all connected for some reason.
Yeah, I love Curse of Dreadbear. I'm planning on it's gonna be such a big chunk of evidence for a theory I'm making about the crying child. And
Yeah. Well,
I think we
one of
actually
the
agree
entire
on that.
mini games is the whole like Mangle thing, right? Like putting the Mangle back together.
Yeah,
Just
build a
the mini
Mangle.
game. Build a Mangle. Mangle is
It's
really
even
interesting.
more interesting because it takes place in research and development. Or no, that's the Dreadbear one, but it does. It is like it's part of the mansion set of levels, which implies
Yes.
it's under the house.
Yeah. Mangle is okay. I had this interesting idea right the other day, kind of combining a few things in my head. We've got the help wanted puppets and how you achieve them all, right? And the way you get the Golden Freddy one is by mixing 4 other flavors together and then discarding it, right? And
Yeah.
then that obviously ties into like Happiest Day of bringing the other 4 spirits together to get Golden Freddy. And Gibby is in chat. Hello, Gibby. Do you want to join in, Gibby? You want me to add you in?
Speaking of Dreadbear, I got him coming up the lake right now.
I'll add Gibby in. Oh, you gotta come at the lake. Let me share the screen. Hello, Gibby.
I actually got some good footage the other day of Dreadbear coming out the lake with the red sky.
Oh, that's cool.
I just clicked on, and you're talking about mixing things together. What's
Yes.
going on here?
So I was just about to say I had an interesting thought the other day about Golden Freddy and about the 5th MCI kid and all this kind of stuff. And the idea that in Help Wanted 2 you have to mix 4 flavors of Fizzy Faz together and then put it in the chute, right? Send it down to the graveyard chute or whatever, and then it comes out with Golden Freddy Puppet. And I was wondering if we combine that with like the maybe like the 5 orphans story, if we combine it with the Happiest Day stuff, maybe Guts theory a little bit, the Frankenstein imagery, of course, William kind of being a Frankenstein-esque character. Dreadbear, yeah. Is there like something that could indicate that when William said, "I will put you back together," he, because like I think we've talked about it like spiritually, and it probably is more so spiritually or ghostly or whatever. Is there like some aspect of the kids that he was trying to choose from to put them together to make like a rebuilt crying child? Now maybe it was just Remnant, maybe it was just like, I'll take all their remnants and I'll put it together and I'll make Crying Child. But like, is it possible that he was like using, like they were chosen specifically for some reason based on the Crying Child to be put together into like a rebuilt Crying Child, and that's what the Golden Freddy kid is like this amalgamation of them.
Similar to Ennard, amalgamation-wise? Like, all the remnant in
Yeah.
one body? Like, the opposite of Shatter Victim.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, we're gonna shove all the kids' remnant into one thing, and that thing is Golden Freddy / Crying Child.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, something like that could also, like, loop victim-wise. It could be like, when they put Susie in Golden Freddy, now the girl with the blonde hair and the bow tie and the toys appear
Yes.
in the FNAF 4 neighborhood. When they put, I don't know, Balloon Boy in there, now the Balloon Boy kid's there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it makes, it's a thing. I'm not super up on the help wanted like 1 and 2 stuff. Is this a game where you're supposed to mix stuff together and that's an Easter egg? Or is that
no. So
a
this
level?
is, you know, the way you have to get them to get the like the little memory plush things with the masks on them.
I know that there are memory plush things with masks.
I'll show you now. So this is Help Wanted 2 Golden Freddy plush. Right.
As a reward for your efforts, you will obtain Golden Freddy. To unlock.
All right. I will share
Yeah,
this.
the hint is graveyard, right, for Golden Freddy?
Yes, I believe so. Which again, no. So
Which
this is by Navala, right? This video. Oh, I should actually. I'm gonna share screens on Discord as well. 2 seconds. Share screen. Can you guys see that on Discord?
Yes, I see.
yeah.
Find all
Yeah,
plushies FNAF. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So this is Navala made this video.
Hard mode, the second plushie you should get is Golden Freddy, as he is very simple to obtain. You can find Mr. Golden Freddy in Fizzy Faz Night 3. All you have to do is when the game starts, grab the cup, and you'll see behind and to the right of the machine where you submit your orders, there is a
this is important,
Sodoroni can hiding. Pick that up and pour it into the cup, and you will notice that the bottom bar actually lights up as if it was filled with an ingredient. After you put the Sodoroni in the cup, just put one of each ingredient in the remaining slots, and then before submitting the order, make sure to trigger a lockdown. Place the cup in the chute, and then send the order out. As a reward for your efforts, you will obtain Golden Freddy. And remember, you can quit out of the minigame after this because it does save. The next plush.
So, something I actually got wrong is it's not one of all of the core 5 ingredients. It's 4 of the main ingredients plus this other one off to the side. This one that's not supposed to be used. So that'd be Crying Child, right?
Oh no, that's some BV Fifth stuff.
What I find super
Oh my god,
interesting-
wait. Oh my god, wait. It's orange, yellow, red, and purple. Freddy, Bonnie, or Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie.
Yeah.
And then the
then
one
you
that
just-
you don't. I wonder does it work if you use the white one, because that would be the puppet.
Is this one in 1 or 2?
This
No,
is 2.
because night 3 you don't have access to the white one. That only gets access later nights.
So yeah. So the white one's not
Toast for
active.
Talbert. Toast for Talbert donation.
Thank you very much. Dreadbear, being a Frankenstein parallel, could back up your point. A bunch of different body parts put together to make Dreadbear, which we assume is Cece, which we assume is Golden Freddy. Exactly.
Yep.
And I think there is evidence to suggest that Mangle is like a test run, right? And what's really funny is I'm just talking about reboot lore at this point, because that's like what I was doing. But again, I didn't mean to. I just thought what would be cool, and I think I keep putting things together in my mind without realizing.
It's a great way of doing it, by the way.
Yeah.
Putting your head in the space of a writer who's writing the FNAF story is a really good way
Yeah.
of putting your head into Scott's mind.
So
Yeah.
I've always found the way you get the Golden Freddy plush so interesting, because every single other plush I think relates to the character of the animatronic, right? So like Chica you get from the food minigame because Chica likes to eat. And then Bonnie you get from Bonkabon because you're bonking Bonnies on the head. And then Foxy you get from the Foxy log ride. So it's like all of the plushies relate to the characters that are being represented by the plushes, not the children in them. But then people argue, like the puppet one, people say is related to Charlie rather than the puppet because it's got the 1983 code. I've said before that I think it's because it's in the security office and you get the security puppet plush. But like Golden Freddy is like the only one where it's like there's no way to relate this to the character of Golden Freddy. This has to just be like something else. Like
yeah, this is the game is about mixing stuff together. The game is about providing the right things, and also I think the lockdown thing. I'm gonna look at the hints. FNAF hell?
Golden Freddy is made of pepperoni. That's the conclusion.
Oh my god, it's Cassidy pizza.
Yes, I will be right back.
Okay, cool. Let me see.
I'm trying to look at what the hints are.
Yeah, trying to find them.
I wonder if I can find the hints in the game files.
Let me see. It might be in the memories thing. Yeah, Phaser Blast gives you Freddy. Bonnie gives you Bonkabong, or Bonko gives you Bonnie. Fazbear Theater. It's all Chica-related items in the trash. Foxy is the log ride. Yeah, Golden Freddy is Fizzy Faz, which is
yeah, that's the only one where, like, you can't even make an argument for it being
the wiki
like,
is
related
referring
to
to it
Golden
as
Freddy.
the graveyard drink. I don't know where that's coming from.
Because the hint is that's just what you call when you mix a bunch of drinks together. It's called the graveyard.
Oh.
That's how you're supposed to know to mix the drinks together, is because the hint itself
Golden
is
Freddy.
a graveyard.
Golden Freddy is made by filling up a graveyard.
Yeah.
Soda you add as the fifth ingredient is Cassidy, and the drink that is made with 5 is CC, because Entered Molten Freddy is CC put back together because Shatter Victim. Maybe. I do see that. I see that line of thinking.
I'm kind of curious what's in the files for...
I'm back.
Hello. Yeah, Fazit was just saying that a drink where you mix a bunch of other drinks together is called a graveyard drink. And so the idea that Golden Freddy is created by filling up a graveyard is interesting.
I'm going to try to see if I can find the names of the hints in the files, if I wanted to.
Are there in-game hints to try to figure this stuff out?
There are.
Yeah.
Is it all Mystic Hippo?
No, Mystic Hippo will give you some hints, like she'll be like, look to the sky, and then you look up, and that's where the hint is.
Okay.
But they're all like in the games. So like the Bonkabon one, it tells you like it's the name Flip, but then it's in reverse, I think, because there's a section in the Bonkabon minigame where things flip, and then you're supposed to input the code that's in there in reverse. And so that's like the hint that it's giving you. And the Chica one is like a bunch of like garbage bags, because you're supposed to throw Chica items in the garbage. Yeah. And then the Golden Freddy one is just a drawing of a graveyard with
a graveyard or a gravestone
bolt on it. I think it's multiple. I think it's a graveyard.
Yes, but Core Money in chat brings up that it's Soda and Cassidy, so it's Cassody.
What I find super interesting is that it's gotten using Sodoroni, which I think Help Wanted was where Sodoroni was introduced right into the games. Like that was the first time we ever saw Sodoroni.
Yeah, either
pepperoni flavored soda.
And Sodoroni is very strangely made in 1986 specifically.
I just saw that on the can. Established 1986. Innovation in carbonation.
Don't like that at all.
1986.
That's not a real year.
That's when Cassidy really died.
You see, Cassidy DCI was true the whole time,
In
but also
1986.
not. Yeah.
Well, so T-Dreads and I have our little theory that I'm working on at the minute about Cassidy maybe not going the way of the dodo straight away. She might have hung around for a little bit. So 86 is interesting.
Hmm. Like a little
Oh, here's all the
a
hints
little
here.
experiment chamber room type thing.
Yeah.
I have the hints in the things. So this is the Golden Freddy one right here. This is the hint.
Okay.
Let's get into you.
share this.
Okay,
So,
I
yeah,
finished my
Sodoroni.
workout. I just got to get my creatine.
Yo.
I'll be right back.
Oh
Okay.
wait. Oh wait. This is interesting, right? Okay. If Sodoroni is Cassidy, right? This is showing Sodoroni.
What did I just come back to?
Cassody theory.
If
Sodoroni is
Cassidy.
Cassodoroni is.
No, I like Cassody better.
Cassodi is. This is a graveyard, and they are showing the Sodoroni planted in the ground in the shape of a grave. This and Cassidy is the one who writes my name
is Sodoroni.
My name
is
on the
Sodoroni.
graveyard.
Wonder what they're called. Let me see what they're
Well, I think it's awesome. Can't wait to see what Twitter thinks.
Cassodi.
It's called Sodoroni Grave. Is the name of the hint.
It is a grave.
Yeah, so it's the
How
soda. I'm
interesting.
guessing that electric symbol that's like to tell you to go into lockdown
To turn
or
off
whatever.
the power.
Yeah.
You can go into lockdown.
Yeah.
What are the other hints?
Because of Cassidy CI, the building is on lockdown.
Night
Oh.
4
Big
closed music.
Cass Soda DCI. Holy big.
Casso DCI.
It's the-
Casso DCI.
Casso DCI. That's freaking awesome.
When
All right,
people
Chad,
say
I'll be
that
right back.
theory names aren't peak. Oh, that's it. That's one of them. There is it Tilt Bonkabon?
Yeah, Till Bonkabon, and it's in reverse because you're supposed to reverse the code that you get. And then
Okay.
Rocket, this is for Phaser Blast. This is for the Foxy one. This is Chica. I guess this is the Puppets one. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's the Ballora night in that office. But what is it? Can you open it up? Is it just a picture of Ballora?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't think it was the Blora Night though. I thought it was
Maybe it's
all of them. No, I think it might. I think it is the Blora one actually. So it's just telling you to go to the Blora Night, and then that's where you can open the drawer and put in the code.
We solved the logbook all wrong. The solution wasn't Cassidy, it was Sodoroni. So, yeah, why Cassidy is being singled out again from the rest, being not part of the 4 that died at Freddy's in the suits. She has her own grave with a different thing written on it.
Yeah, with pepperoni written on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Is it possible that he's trying to make his new crying child with the other kids?
Possible, yeah.
What the other thing I find really interesting is that all of the plushes in the lobby are placed in areas that are specific to the characters. So like Chica again is at the food court, Bonnie is by Bonkabon. Golden Freddy is next to just a staff bot head.
Yeah. Which is like the missing staff bot head.
Yep.
The gravestone with no name is just Sodoroni. That was the answer to the logbook the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might actually. I'm gonna download a full save for Help 1 and 2 and plug that in. so I can look at all the environment because I think it's interesting.
Star's Word says, "Hey, Unwithered, how are you doing today?"
Doing pretty good. Thank you very much for
I'm
asking,
gonna
Stars Word. Hope
Stop
you're doing well.
streaming this real quick while I open up my files and stuff. Put this in here.
Gibby, where do you stand on the DCI?
I have no idea. Listen, when you're one of us and you have to like make timelines and like make consistent stuff, you have to eventually like pick a side on things.
Yeah.
The DCI is something I'm agnostic on. A lot of things I'm truly agnostic on, but I just sort of like have to pick, well, I'm 51% this way, so I guess I have to do this. The DCI sucks because it's so obviously telling us that there's 5 or 6 dead kids in the FNAF 2 the week before the game takes place. Like the game is just straight up telling us that.
Mm-hmm.
But the conventions of storytelling are sort of the thing that counters that, right? Like if that's what Scott intended, you would assume that this would come up again literally at any point. And so if you take the game super literally and what they're showing us, obviously there's a DCI, and obviously it's 5 more victims at the FNAF 2 location the week before FNAF 2 happens. The reason it's hard to accept is because Scott loves recontextualizing and revisiting certain ideas, and sort of giving them more lore later. Like, why do we have so much lore about Susie, but nothing about any of the DCI kids? It's so odd. So yeah, I'm completely agnostic on if it exists or what it means.
I was saying that something interesting about the games, if you view them as like, I'm sitting down and I'm going to play Five Nights at Freddy's, and then I play the first game, and then I play the second game, and then I play the third game, and I pay enough attention that I'm like following the story, but I'm not going through every mini game and dissecting every pixel and like considering the the order of like outside events. I'm just kind of like taking the games as they come. The story of 1 to 3 about the kids is like so straightforward. It's crazy. Like it's just in 87, the kids were killed. They were put in the old robots that were out of order. The killer got away. Then the building closed down and reopened a while later on a smaller budget, so the building was reworked. The killer came back, got put in his suit, died, and then all the kids were broken down, and then in FNAF 3 they all got a happy ending. Mike undid the tragedy in their memories or whatever, and they got to go to heaven.
You and I have spent a collective like 20 hours probably saying, but why isn't the DCI just the MCI?
Yeah, and it's just like there's two things.
Agree with that.
A classy captain for $14. Thank you very much. Have you guys heard of the bazooka theory, where William Afton used a bazooka to kill Cassidy instead of the Fredbear suit? That's why Cassidy's a projection, because she doesn't have a body.
That's why it needs to be put back together.
That's so true.
Because of the bazooka. Trying to see if there's anything else about Sodoroni. It's 10 ounces. That's because Cassidy was 10 years old.
That's canon.
Yeah, this is where it shows up. The hint in game. It's already completed, so it fades it out with purple spray paint, but
right. Okay. So it's where is it? It's next to the change machine. It's next to the door. Moondrop. What's it's next to the staff bot head.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the staff bot head is right here, and then it's Golden Freddy right next to it. Glamrock Bonnie's also here. But...
Glamrock Bonnie is also there. That's interesting. Sorry.
And then this is why I think it's interesting, because Chica is with the food stuff and all the Chica stuff, and like Bonnie is next to the Bonkabon, the arcade games, stuff like that. Freddy is right next to the main stage. Foxy I find interesting because Foxy is next to all the MCM stuff. Mystic Hippo, the Carousel, Monty. So I think that this is, showcasing Foxy being related to MCM.
That's interesting.
And then the Charlie plush is next to a pair of teeth and Freddy. I guess also Faz Force. And then over here you get the Golden Freddy next to the staff bot head.
Fascinating.
Do we ever go into that back room?
Back here? No.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is Proto Freddy's, it would be one of the ways to get to F10. But... And this would be where the spring lock suit is, and then there'd be the door right here where you go into the safe room. And this would be towards the bathrooms.
So interesting.
How about interesting to give Yendo a thing here?
Oh, Yendo. You interesting thing.
I also think this is very strong glitch M1 because Helpy is obviously glitch trap and is right next to the big old sun.
All right, Chuds.
I'm
back.
But
Welcome back. So Sodoroni is peak. It's the best theory ever made.
Holy awesome.
Do you want me to go into that level to look around, see what's in there?
Sure. In which level? The Sodoroni one? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's night 3, right?
Night 3.
Let's go.
Me when Scott live updates Help Wanted 2 to confirm our awesome theory.
Scott was there.
It's just like Leon Riskin.
Wait, I gotta Unreal Unlocker this.
Yeah, so the salt is not available. That's good MCI 87 evidence. If these are all supposed to represent the different kids, then the white one hasn't been filled up yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's orange, yellow, red, pinkish.
They always
purplish.
start. Do they always start 2 filled?
No, they start 1 filled. It's just some time has passed. So.
Chat, type 14 if you were here for the Abyss incident.
Sodoroni.
Ignore my water jug.
86.
We gotta get the calories. We gotta get everything.
Candy more
200
theory.
calories.
Bunch of 14s.
200
Love
calories for a
that
12-ounce
video.
can. Holy.
Are you applying similar logic to the FNAF Anniversary timeline from God Victim? Like, is God Victim canon in FNAF Anniversary? Is what
In
they're
a
saying.
way.
Yeah,
in a way.
we get.
I think this is
I
also
was
one
more
of the
so
only
referring-
levels that has a
Oh.
puppet in it. Puppet plush.
So that's MCI.
But Plush
That's
always looks
Charlie 83 because she's overseeing the creation of Golden Freddy.
Yes, of course.
David.
This has got Vanny in it for some reason.
Scott
Or is
doesn't
that is
do
that Spring
coincidence.
Bonnie and Fredbear?
Yeah, it could just
I
be a
guess it could be.
cartoonish Afton familyism.
No, Scott doesn't do coincidences.
Right. I also find this interesting. There's just a random balloon up here.
Yeah. Anything outside?
I'll spread the word. Fazburger.
You gotta
This
get into
is
those tanks.
when
There's gotta be
security breach.
stuff hidden in those tanks. Surely. No.
These are pretty reminiscent of the tanks in MCM that have the molten metal, but
True.
obviously this is, carbonated sugar.
Dumpster rules. Oh, yo, She's just chilling out in the dumpster. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Is this
taking
all
place-
in the Sodoroni level? Like, this is just
Yeah.
loaded?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
these are all
funny.
cameras that you can see on
It's
the
supposed to
map.
be like they're just out here, like you can
Mhm.
see their little workstations, but they have them loaded in separate areas for like camera purposes, I think.
Interesting. Is Casodi compatible with God Victim? Of course
Yeah,
it
I think
is.
so.
I mean, both are canon, so by definition, they have to be compatible.
Exactly.
Oh my God, David! It's the purple guy, son.
No, I can do it again, or I can get the showcase the way you do it, even though we already saw it. But
I like
Actually, I'd
to
be
move
curious
it,
if
move
it
it.
just works in any order. If you can just mix them all together in any order. If you have to go left to right.
well, let's try it. Let's do.
Oh, wait,
And
careful,
put that in
Sodoroni.
there. Put that in there, and then
You have to go lockdown.
I can't remember if you go on lockdown first or
You go lockdown first, and then you submit it. It's a little happy bear as well. So you have to do Sodoroni first.
Guess so. Let me try it. Let me restart this.
Clock and job start now.
So let's go Sodoroni first, and then do a random order. Put that in there. Go on lockdown.
Interesting. So it might have to be the right order.
The right order, as in from left to right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is
Clock
interesting.
and job start now.
Unless I'm doing it wrong? I don't think so, though. Let's put Sodoroni in there first.
Yeah, do it the left to right, like normal, and then we'll see. Charlie being salt is Charlie toy shink proof, says Solar Wind.
Oh, unless you're supposed to scrap it, you're supposed to delete it, I think.
Oh, I think you're right. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
try-
You have
try
to
it.
scrap it instead of.
Yeah.
Clock and job start now.
Well, if we have to scrap it, maybe it can be any
Casodi
order.
was a failed experiment.
Let's see. I'll do
Toys for Talbert, $5.
Thank you very much. If
What
it
am I
parallels the order of the gravestones in Princess 4, could that mean Charlie Last is true? Well, we'll find out.
If the
No,
if the
Chico would be
Sodoroni does?
first, which would be lemon. That didn't work.
Did you do it
Maybe it does
in
have to be a
the
certain
left
order.
to right, or did you do it?
No, I tried doing random if it was supposed to be scrapped, but it didn't work random, so I'll try the left to right.
Clock and job start now.
Then trash it, I guess.
Huh.
Alright,
Alright, hang on.
it's night 3. It's so interesting that it's not working.
Phase Night 3. All you have to do is when the game starts, grab the cup, and you'll see behind and to the right of the machine where you submit your orders, there is a Sodoroni can hiding. Pick that up and pour it into the cup, and you will notice that the bottom bar actually lights up as if it was filled with an ingredient. After you put the Sodoroni in the cup, just put one of each ingredient in the remaining slots, and then before submitting the order, make sure to trigger a lockdown. Place the cup in the chute,
You
and
do
then send
submit
the
the
order
order. You
out.
put the you
As
hit
a
the yellow
reward for
button, or the blue bear button. The way she did it was she initiated a lockdown before putting the cup back, so she was still holding the cup.
I see. Maybe that has. Yeah, I'll try that.
If you've gotten it already, does it definitely?
Yeah, it lets you
That-
redo it.
That's wild.
Well, it should at least. I know it cut like I can go. I go back to hub. Like I know for certain, it does some of them. Like if I go to food prep, I know for certain I can do Chica. Let me just make sure they didn't like update the game or something and like prevent you from doing that.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Fazbear Theater. The next show will begin in 5 minutes.
We are still open. Still open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, so creepy. Was that not a lockdown? Is that's definitely the lockdown button?
Yeah, the one that I was doing was definitely the lockdown.
And it was definitely night 3?
Yeah, it should have been.
Did you discover anything while you were playing FNAF 2, UG?
We were looking through at the mostly at the nighttime phone calls, and I was going over all my crackpot 87 evidence. Have you seen Hyperdroid's new video about FNAF 2?
About FNAF 2? I've not seen that one yet. Did he? He's gonna blow the world up with part 3. That one's gonna go crazy.
He had a really good idea about a great observation I've never seen before, which is the table that there is a blood stain underneath in Save Them is not in the party room in game. It's the only table which is missing from the cameras, and it's been moved into Kids Cove, because Kids Cove in Save Them doesn't have a table, but it has a table, and the one in the room with it's the same room that has the Puppet Pals as well, and for some reason the table has been moved, and it's just interesting that it's the table that has blood underneath it. And he also noted that the Puppets box is a different color in the minigame as it is in the real game. So that is also something that has a blood stain in it in Save Them. So it could be like they moved the table to clean up the blood stain, and they replaced the puppet box with a different one.
That's super interesting.
Isn't it?
Huh.
You know, I find interesting as some Charlie 87 evidence is that in the FNAF 2 level of Phaser Blast, actually no, this is not FNAF 2 level, this is just the second Phaser Blast level. In the FNAF 2 level of Phaser Blast, the only mini game that they adapt for the gameplay of FNAF 2 is Take Cake to the Children. So like this is
the worst theories of the three of you. I'm not gonna. So, I don't know.
I would definitely have to say Gibby.
No. Whoa,
He
they say
he has in
Gibby
brackets.
doesn't count.
Gibby doesn't count.
Oh no.
Yeah, see, so like this is like FNAF 2 gameplay, right? Like you
I'd
are
have to say Toto.
actively doing FNAF 2 right now, and you have to start it with Take Cake to the Children.
That's good. But wait, turn around and look up. Turn around and look up. Oh wait, no, it's not in this. Damn it! I thought it had Fall Fest 83 written somewhere.
No.
What a very specific thing to be written.
Like you're doing FNAF 2 here, right? And like
Yeah, and the first thing you have to do is take cake.
yeah.
Apologize to Toto right now, says Juan Potatoes.
And then throughout the game too, more you have to continue doing Take Cake. It's like integrated into the gameplay.
Charlie 87. Charlie 87. You know what? MCI 87, Charlie 87, I'm fine with.
As long as it's Charlie first, you're cool with it? Is that what you're saying?
I guess. Yeah. Yes, okay, so the reason I'd be okay with it is Charlie first, 87, William kills Charlie, after his shift as the night guard on his way, as the... It would be before he goes on his night shift. So as he's driving to Freddy's to go to work, and he sees Charlie and he kills her, and then he leaves. Charlie possesses the puppet. Then he goes, okay, well, I can't kill any more kids. There's too much room. There's people talking about stuff around town. People are talking about it. So he's got to figure out a way of doing it without raising more suspicion, so he kills the other 5 in the suit.
And Crying Child is Runaway because he...
No. Mike Runaway, and he's Jeremy.
Mike Runaway, and he's Jeremy.
He's Jeremy, and he gets a paycheck?
Yeah, they didn't look at stuff back then. What's a birth certificate? I don't know.
What
I mean, Mike just has Jeremy's paycheck.
He's like 17.
Ticket to Fun. Yeah, that's one of the first things you learn about Fazbear and MCM is that why don't we just hire more teenagers?
Yeah, but hang on. There's one thing to hire a teenager to do a job. There's another thing for a teenager to run into the building after hours because it was led there by Golden Freddy, and then get a paycheck at the end of the week. Phone guy hired him. Or Jeremy died. And Mike collected his paycheck.
Cassidy Dreamer. Cassidy Observation Room. Cassidy Runaway.
I literally suggested Cassidy run away when we were talking about that. At first, I was like, wait. It's not the Crying Child. It's Cassidy.
Scott's sitting there like, these guys are so close to realizing Cassidy doesn't exist and it's just the Crying Child. And we're like, wait a minute, what if the Crying Child doesn't exist? Yeah. And it's all Cassidy.
No. The Crying Child's real. Cassidy's a recreation of the Crying Child.
Yeah.
You know, I find interesting, these little glitch trap enemies are called bats in the game file.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there's other, like in the other Princess Quest games, there's like other enemies called spiders, and then the ones that look like the princess are called generic enemy.
You've been doing like a files deep dive?
Yeah, I've been looking through all that.
Any other person, or whatever it's called? Man?
No, I'm pretty sure Old Man Consequence is just called Old Man in the files. I can check here.
I thought it was OMC. I thought that was the way people connect.
He's OMC and Help Wanted, yeah.
Oh, and Help Wanted 1.
No, I was talking about how William in
Oh yeah, because
Man and an orange guy is called Man. Yeah. I was making a little jokey joke.
Well, Glitch Trap is called Spring Bonnie Man.
Spring Bonnie Man.
Didn't we get Glitch Trap from the files? Isn't that like? That wasn't even
Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap is in the files, but it's the Spring Trap in the Entered Vent Repair is Glitch Trap. It's not like the character Glitch Trap is named Spring Bonnie Man, and Glitch Trap is a name in the files, but it's a name for just Spring Trap in the Entered Vent Repair.
Interesting. Someone brought up the old, we never learned Charlie's name in the games, and we'd only know Cassidy's name from the books. What if Charlie's named Cassidy?
I think
people have been saying that for years.
I think that's totally fair until the FNAF 2 movie has Charlotte be a puppet.
Well, the movies also have. I mean, what? She's 82 in the movie.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, okay, say we have this big misunderstanding about Charlotte. Like, because we only get the name Charlie from the Silver Eyes. We go, okay, yeah, well, Henry has a daughter. Her name's Charlie. She's the puppet. But if Scott was like, no, Charlie is the daughter who lives in the Silver Eyes. Cassidy is the daughter who dies in the games, right? I don't think he would have made Charlie the character who dies in the movie to become the puppet, unless he was really
the movies are based
especially considering how widely believed Charlie is to be the puppet. Like,
Yeah, I'm 100% saying that Scott's doing it on purpose to mess with us.
to mess with us, yeah.
I think that the movies are pulling so much from the books. They even got the fact that Charlie died in 82 and then retconned it in to 83.
That is so funny.
Oh yeah, because the novelization.
Oh, you're
says
so
83,
right.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I guarantee the next movie is gonna have her die in 83 as well. Because they already they did that already. It says that it's been 1 year since the events of the first movie, and it's 2002, but the first movie takes place in 2000. So it's been 2 years. So it's just like they're already just retconning information movie to movie. So I would not be surprised at all if Charlie dies in 1983 in the next movie, and it's just a joke about the novels.
Which payslip? Sorry to jump around. Which payslip of Jeremy's does Mike have? Night 5 or Night 6?
That is a good question. I think I have it on my desk right here. Let me check.
In tickets for fun.
Yeah. It is for $100.50. I don't remember which one that is. It's for the 12th.
That's Night 5, yeah. Because I was going to say it'd be kind of cool if it was Night 6, because if Mike was Fritz, the idea that Jeremy never gets to cash that final paycheck because he dies in the Bite of 87 would be a good reason for Mike to have the Jeremy payslip. Is that it was left on his desk and he never cashed it because he died. But Night...
This is what... people always, whenever I talk about Charlie 87, they talk about the fact that, doing the grave order in the correct order gives you a Bonnie mask, which is, in relation to the Bite of 83. But what I think is going on is because these things are literally called memories, and you're putting them in an order, you're just literally putting memories in an order. And then when you get the correct order, you get something that's related to your character. I think that what's happening is that you are trading Glitch Trap. You're like, hey, you give him the correct set of memories and he gives you something in return, a memory of your own. That's what I think is going on in this.
Yeah, that's fair. Because there's a fair trade, right? There's that whole thing.
Yeah, the very next thing is go to Old Man Consequences, and he says it is a fair trade. Although you don't need to do the correct order to get that line about it is a fair trade, but I think it just puts in your mind that there's a trade system happening here.
Well, Glitch Trap, yeah. So this is you get the Bonnie mask.
Yeah, and then people have also pointed out the fact that the little glowing dot things are what indicate the order, and then when you open it, it gives you 6 dots, and it ends on 5. So this would be the 6th.
Okay. This looks familiar. If the Susie line isn't the first, couldn't it be backwards?
So what it would be...
Charlie,
Crying
Golden
Child,
Freddy.
Charlie,
No.
Golden Freddy, that would be what DC then? Well, if the bite is, that would mean Cassidy would be the first victim. Aside from Charlie.
Either
then...
Charlie first, Bite victim second, or Charlie first, Cassidy second, and Bite victim's not counted.
I just think it would be funny to have the order clearly go start at 0 and go up, and then have the line in Ultimate Customizer I was the first coming from Chica, and then putting Chica as the first in the order. Even like when you first come in, she's the closest to you.
Yeah.
It would just be
But that's what if okay, I'm not a huge fan of the mask being the bite of 83, right? But if we take the idea that the bully is Cassie's dad and we're playing as the bully, and this looks familiar, that's what that means. Which, by the way, I'll point out is not the same mask as from Help Wanted. The rest of the Halloween games.
It's like a full, just like Bonnie head.
It's like a Bonnie head, right? But let's just, for argument's sake, let's say it is the Bonnie mask from the Bite of 83. Then what I would argue is that these are memories being presented in the reverse order, going back in time, going the last all the way up to the most far back, right? And the Bite of 83 would be before Charlie's death, but Cassidy would be the first of the MCI to die, or to be.
Would that be Elizabeth first? Because then you go to the sister location elevator.
Oh, interesting. So you trade the Vanny mask for Glitch Trap.
So under reverse order, would it be Elizabeth, Charlie, Crying Child, Cassidy,
Elizabeth,
Jeremy, Gabriel,
or if it's not to represent Elizabeth, it's or it's David, because David and the whole sister location, it's MCM, it's the bunker's origins.
Yeah,
because Elizabeth technically isn't a victim of William, like, directly.
It's so interesting they put this puzzle here because you don't use it, and it's also not there originally. Like,
oh, it's a fast wrench puzzle.
Yeah, that makes me think that we're going to at some point go into the sister location elevator in the future, and it's going to have that puzzle there. I don't want to see what this guy's called in the files. I forget. Also, purple lighting. I think it is like literally purple to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always found this interesting, the fact that you give it to Moon, and then in Secret of the Mimic, you play moon.exe to get the glitch permission.
Yeah. And Vanny is working with Moon.
Yeah.
If Moon is Edwin...
This is going to make me have to close my game.
He made the Mimic.
Well, if Gregory's secret friend is Edwin, then he and Cass and Vanessa would be working together. Yeah, he does not want that to happen.
He shakes his head no before he gets crushed.
Yeah. It's so interesting. The sister location elevator leads you to the arcade machine.
It's still crazy you can't skip these credits.
Fix your game, Scott.
I remember at one point I tried looking through all of the items in here, seeing if there's anything of importance. There's a ball, puppet.
There was a ball.
There's a Funtime
Foxy.
Foxy.
Circus Baby. I remember like counting them, being like, all right, how many of each of these are
How many
there?
toes they got? Oh.
Yeah. The Chica down there. If I remember correctly, there's no sun things, it's only moon.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Edwin is going to be the guy that they're working with.
Yeah, also on Security Bridge, when you go into the tunnels, there are a bunch of TV screens that are lit up, and there's 3 of them, and 2 of them are turned off, and 1 of them is on, and it's Moon. And so the idea would that it would be Moon, Sun, and Eclipse, and it's Edwin, Fiona, and David, and then Fiona and David's are turned off because they're dead, but Moon is on because Edwin is still alive.
Interesting. All right. Well, unless y'all have any more crazy thoughts given about FNAF 2 or the DCI or Cassidy or Mike Jeremy.
I mean, I always have crazy thoughts about all of this stuff because we're insane.
That is so true. Any hot takes that have come about?
I'm making a big video about Agony, and I really don't like the paper plate dolls.
Yes.
Because, like, something moving out of the corner of your eye is a spooky, scary movie trope, right? The other alternative is that, like, there's some consciousness in the building that's desiring the paper plate dolls to move, whether it's, like, the puppet or whatever, or, like, a Cassidy. It's just, like, it's still the one thing that I'm like, okay, so if Agony is what allows the blah, 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 it's just the one thing where I'm like, but are the paper plate dolls, like, alive? Because when the posters change to a screaming child, you can be like, well, a child was screaming in the building, and so the poster is, it's stone tape theory, so the poster is just an echo of a thing that happened here previously. What are the paper plate dolls?
Well,
I'm guessing you're not
enough that
taking
paper plate dolls
the week
are
before.
in that room. Sorry, you go ahead.
Are you taking the week before lore into your head at all when thinking about this, or?
Yes, yeah. I'm looking all over the franchise for this kind of stuff.
Because in the week before, Ralph just directly says that the posters and stuff changing in the restaurant is from Freddy Fazbear himself, like it is Gabriel doing it.
Okay.
Why are there 2?
2 bears and 1
Well, don't you see David
Edwin.
and the crying child?
Oh, no.
I have it on good authority from Tom Theory that one of those is the mimic.
Oh, of course, because he's pretending. The one that should be next to them, the other paper plate, the kid, or the whatever it is, the puppet Jackie, whatever. It is in the same room as one of the kids, the blood stain under the table that was removed. So I posited maybe it's just supposed to represent the kid that died in that room. It's not supposed to be another character. It's just kid, random kid.
The paper plate doll?
Yeah, and it's just like Agony left over. If the DCI is a separate event, I think there's a good chance that because the minigames all end with a possession or some sort of like indicator of possession, right? Like they end with a jump scare of the character.
Yeah.
The Save Them minigame is the only one that doesn't. And presumably if the Save Them was showing the DCI, you'd imagine that like Toy Freddy would attack you, or Toy Bonnie, or Toy Chica, or Mangle, or someone would jump scare you. But instead it ends with you can't, right? Save Them, you can't.
Yeah.
And if the puppet in that game is supposed to be responsible, whether or not that's true now, but at the time, Give Gifts, Give Life, if that was supposed to show, oh yeah, the puppet's the one that brought them all to life. The puppet being like, save them, and then William saying you can't, and all the bodies are scattered around and not hidden away, could be some sort of indicator that the intention of the DCI was not to possess something, and that it was specifically so that they would not be put in that situation again, for some reason.
I had come up with an interesting narrative under Charlie 87 relating it to the novel trilogy, where it would be like, under a toy killbot situation, it would be that the toys are just the twisted ones, and the DCI were the animatronics looking to kill Charlie. But Charlie just hadn't been there, and so they were grabbing other kids that looked like Charlie. And then Charlie, was, the last of them, just like in the twisted ones.
Interesting.
And that's why they wouldn't... I think regardless of if the DCI is real or not, they don't possess anything, because there's just no indication of that. And I would say there's a heavy indication of the opposite, where they're possessed by the MCI, I think, in the games, and then in the movies, they're not possessed at all.
I like the idea that it might have something to do with the Mangle. Because the Mangle's the only one that moves in that game. And if William was trying to do this, like, put you back together experiment, maybe he was like, okay, I'll kill a bunch of these kids and have them possess multiple parts of the Mangle that can be taken apart and put back together as like a test run or something. But I don't, you know, there's only one kid in the Mangle's room. I guess he was here would be the idea that he's been in and out of this room. Like he was here in this room with me.
It's interesting they don't put the puppet inside
Endo
Lefty. No. Endo 2 has 3 ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Plus it's got the wrong. Actually, I think that is an Endo
That is
2
the Endo 2
leg.
leg.
It's the Endo 2 feet.
Don't have no feet. Oh, it's got Endo 1 feet.
What kind of arms you got?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it capturing the puppet with that thing.
You also got the interesting thing of I should just check the teeth. The teeth are immediate. This is. I don't think this is Endo 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Closer to Endo 1.
Very interesting.
Are there any Endo 1s in this game I can look at?
Creamy Sheep Palpatine, $5.
Thank
Hello,
you.
chuds. Do you think Afton will return post-UCN in the present as a sort of final boss, or will it just be his impact is still felt in the present?
If the glitch trap ending is true, I think then we won't see him come back as a final boss. He's played his role setting all these events in motion. But I also I think him coming back as a final boss and the true villain of the series, you know, and we have to help David get free or whatever, to beat him, I think would also make sense. Right?
Yeah, I think the funniest thing they could do is everybody's like, "Oh, William's gone. It's just the mimic mimicking him." And then we beat the mimic, and then William comes up as like after the mimic's defeated, and we have to defeat him as the big bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, you know, Glitch Trap is gone as far as we know, but like they can always do the I hid a single strand of my code within the Vanny mask or inside Cassie or something, you know.
Inside Cassie.
I actually don't think Glitch Trap is gone because this ending, the one where you lose, we know happens because we see that with like just in Ruin, and then also Glitch Trap is represented as Helpy, and Helpy is assisting the mimic in Ruin. So like whenever you do the Princess Quest ending, it completely removes Helpy, but then whenever you do the bad ending, Helpy is sitting here chilling. And so I think that that's showing that Glitch Trap is not dead. This is just a non-canon ending, and the canon ending is the one that we literally see happen. Yeah. I think everybody assumed that the Glitch Trap ending was canon because of some of the wording between J-Top and John, but I think that all that J-Top was saying was that is depicting the death of Glitch Trap, not necessarily that the death of Glitch Trap happened.
Yep. I've heard that. That sentiment.
The Fast Force is also interesting because that is combining 5 things into one. Or 6 things into one.
Gen you force, gen you force.
And
So,
what is the Fast Force for? Like, what do you get when you combine them all? I forget.
Phas Botatron, I think it is.
No, I know, but I mean, like, what does that do for the end of the game?
That's when Glitch Trap comes out of the charging pod, and then you get killed by staff bots.
Someone also pointed out to me that it looks like the mimic at the end of Secret of the Mimic in the. It's
Yeah, that's why I'm
Bonnie's
replaying
head.
it. I was trying to.
Ready to rock.
Chipset Chica,
Ready to rock.
Bionic Bonnie,
I would never let you down.
and their mysterious friend. Fast Force engaged. Combine them all to form.
Does it show the legs? No, I think it's because yeah. So it's Bonnie's head, Freddy's chest, Foxy's arm, Chica's arm, and then each of the legs is one is Golden Freddy and one is the puppet.
Yeah, it's the Bonnie
All
head,
live a happy or
particularly.
successful life without them all. Fast Force figures each sold separately, batteries not included.
Please do not touch.
I could
Are
do
they
the-
presented as so? Obviously, right? They're Transformers, right? It's a very '80s thing. Are they
Or
presented
robots or
as
whatever.
being retro in this game, or are they presented as a toy of the time in this game?
That was the ad that just played, and it looks like it's supposed to be from like the 80s.
Or
Yeah,
vintage. Sorry, it's like the ad is actually from the '80s.
It looks
that's what
like
it
it.
seems to
so-
be. It's hard to say.
So interesting. Edwin
And
invented
this is the
Transformers.
This is the actual ending. The charging pod opens, and then glitch trap hands. Is this full thing in here? No, it's just his hand. That's clearly, glitch trap. Glitch trap's hand comes out of the charging pod.
Like Burn Trap.
I also think it's interesting that this ending takes place in reality because you can see this is like without the AR mask, and the other ending takes place in AR. You can't do Princess Quest unless you're wearing the mask, which to me also kind of indicates that it's not real. Like that's not the real ending. This is the real ending because it's literally in reality. And then you get attacked by the nightmare staff bots.
I think that the whole that's the ending that shows you giving the mask to Cassie, which is what happens, is the best. Like it is an argument enough.
Yeah.
To be convincing. IMO.
Mask.
And then also in Ruin, the mask bot is the only bot that looks like it has a brain inside of it.
What do you mean?
Like when you play Ruin and you first put on the mask, you can like see the AR world, and the mask bot looks like it has a human brain inside of it.
That's cool. Were people talking about that before Help Wanted 2?
Yeah, people talked about it a little bit, but they, I don't think people knew what to make of it at the time. But then Help Wanted 2 came out, and you're playing as this character who then gets killed, and then you wake up in the mask bot and give it to McCassie. So
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for joining.
Of course.
I had a good time yapping. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. I think now is about time that I log off and I go to sleep. Thank you everyone for joining in and keeping
Yeah,
up.
that
Thank
is
you to
what a
everyone
coward
that
would do.
super chatted. That is what a coward would do. You are so correct. All right, thank you all very much. I hope everyone has a good night. Sweet dreams and all that. And thank you to my wonderful guests, Fazant, Giddy, and T-Dreads.
I was gone most of the stream, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I
T-Dreads
was here
really
in
pulled the
spirit.
weight. He made sure that we stayed high on the
I just
attention.
didn't have much to add.
That's fair. All right,
Except
good night.
for
Thank you, Abby. Good
I
night,
love going with
everybody.
the truth.
Bye.